With the New York Giants is coming to an end. The running back expected to sign with the rival Philadelphia Eagles, per NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and Mike Garafolo. Barkley's deal will be for 3 years and $37.75 million. Rappaport and Garafolo also have the Giants acquiring pass rusher Brian Burns from the Panthers. New York gives Burns a new 5-year deal worth a maximum of $150 million with $87.5 million guaranteed. Carolina, using their franchise tag on Burns last week, will receive second and fifth round selections in the deal. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
What's going on? Happy day 2 illegal tampering is in the books. 6 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Titans made 4 moves yesterday. We'll start with the running back, Tony Pollard, signing a 3-year, $24 million deal. Now to Lloyd Cushenberry, center. 4-year, $50 million, sets records for centers, including signing bonus over $18 million, fully guaranteed money for a center, that's $26 million, and first-year cash, that is $20 million. Also on the defensive side, not also, this is a new defensive, Chidobe Awuzie, cornerback, 3 years, $36 million, $23 guaranteed. And the signing that happened late last night, Kenneth Murray, linebacker, former first-round pick, signed a 2-year deal worth up to $15.5 million and could be possibly up to $18 million. And rather than read a bunch of deals off to you, we'll talk about what happened last night. Former Jags cornerback Darius Williams, who was let go earlier in the offseason, headed back to the Rams, the team he won a Super Bowl with, on a 3-year deal. And some quarterback movement as Sam Darnold going back to the Vikings on a 1-year, $10 million deal. Aaron Rodgers has a new backup in 35-year-old Tyrod Taylor. And the biggest trade from yesterday, Brian Burns to the Giants for a 2nd and 5th round pick. The Giants then signed Burns to a 5-year, $141 million deal with $76 million guaranteed at signing. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast on 104.5 The Zone. A very happy Tuesday to you with tons to discuss for the next 4 hours. If yesterday was like being a kid on Christmas, then happy Boxing Day. I guess that's what today is. December 26th as the first day of legal tampering. Essentially, NFL free agency comes and goes, and the Tennessee Titans come out of there with 4 new players. We discuss it with you over the next 4 hours. Alongside Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. My name is Will Bowling. Coming up this morning, Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White at 7:20. Austin Price of VolQuest at 8:20. And, of course, Ron Slay in hour number 4 at 9:20. Good morning, everyone.
Hey,
Good morning.
what up, man?
Hey, there's a lady in here.
Yeah,
How we
well,
doing?
I thought that was just, engulfed everybody in that one. It's just a general term.
up,
But
man?
good morning, gentlemen and lady. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Good?
Didn't want to wake up again, that's for sure.
I was ready to wake up this morning.
I was so
hate
tired.
saying that, ready to wake up. But definitely a situation where I was like, okay, let's get to work. Today should be an exciting day. Yesterday was. It was nonstop news all day yesterday. If it wasn't for the Titans, it was everybody else around the league with record-breaking deals and everything. So it was fun yesterday, I thought.
I'm still not caught up to the time zone, not going to lie.
Are you?
Nah.
Well, I am.
I am
It
not
got me
caught up,
already.
so I'm
good.
like, okay, Kayla, just, turn around. Don't put the silence on your alarm because I never do that.
Yeah.
I did it for 10 minutes today, and I was like, okay, got to get up. I think, when you have so much news going on, it's crazy because it's almost like an overload of, okay, have I got everything? I woke up at 1 a.m., looked at my phone, and was like, okay, there had to have been another signing. And sure enough, there was.
It was.
So it's nonstop. And when your mine always works like
Yeah,
that. So I'm
yeah.
like, I don't think it ever shuts off on crazy weeks like this.
No doubt about it. But this is what we're in this thing for. I will say yesterday, I'm caught up with the time just because I went outside yesterday and we actually utilized the backyard. And I was like, yes,
Nice.
this is kind of cool. I've been and I've told you guys this before, a spring hater, not really spring, but a summertime hater, and a spring forward time hater because I was always into football, always got to be outside. But now I'm not required to be outside all the time, and I enjoy being outside. I actually sat outside, soft tossed to my kid, and safely out of his direction had a cigar. So I was like,
Well, this is the time
this
to do it.
pre-spring moments right there.
It's
I have
beautiful
felt
out.
so energized by seeing the sun. I will absolutely give up an hour of sleep whenever to see more of the sun. So I feel more energized this week than I did last week.
Hopefully it stays
good.
out and we don't get another thing of cold weather here.
I always say when we hit this time of the year when it's back and forth, I think we got one more.
One more in
This is
No
Tennessee.
snow, just cold.
Just a cold snap. I think we got one more, and it'll probably be late night baseball game. Don't
But
ask me
yeah,
how I know.
probably.
Yeah, definitely.
615-737-1045 is our number. What was your favorite move the Tennessee Titans made yesterday as they add Tony Pollard, Kenneth Murray late last night, Lloyd Cushenberry, and Chidobe Awuzie? And a lot of these moves we discussed yesterday before the legal tampering period opened. There was a lot of talent, a lot of money, and a lot to react to that was spent yesterday by Rain Carthon, Amy Adams-Strunk, and the Tennessee Titans.
It was, man. I thought it was somewhat like Christmas, unwrapping a new breaking news gift yesterday for the most part. The Lord Cushenberry one definitely got me. Was excited about that one too, and the Chidobe Awuzie. I think you understand where they trying to go with this one and shoring up the interior and trying to get some outside help for the defense. I think that was crucial. And, of course, the defense being where it is, it definitely needs that help because it's voided in a few situations right now with Christian Fulton not being here. Did we get his signing yesterday?
No.
Is that something that did not happen
That did not happen.
Him or Tierra
Or
yesterday.
Derrick Henry.
Or Derrick. I
Yeah.
figured Derrick be a second wave or either pick where he wants to go in the middle of the summer guy if he's not signed early.
I was a little surprised by Derrick Henry just for the fact that running backs went wild yesterday in terms of teams grabbing them. Even some teams, cutting their running backs and signing another running back. And I was a little surprised because if you look at some of the analysts that have broken down this free agency class, they had Derek as number 2, possibly even some had him as number 1. But then I started to look, guys, at the age of all the running backs that were signed yesterday. Guess what? They're all under the age of 30. Some are creeping up there, but most of them are in their mid-30s. Derrick Henry is that solo guy that's in his 30s that's the hot name on the market. And it just made me think, is that still Sigma? Is that a thing? And it seems to be a thing.
It is a thing at that position for amount of tread that those dudes put on their tires. But we'll see what today holds for them. But this is what we've been saying for a while. You have to be a specific team to want a Derrick Henry.
You do.
The backs that were signed yesterday, they were starter backs. They were multifaceted backs. They are pass catching, run catching, inside outside zone guys. Every single one of them were yesterday. Mm-hmm. And you gotta have a specific piece. But to Will's questions again, a second ago, mine would be Lord Cushenberry. I'll be honest, I didn't know a lot about him. I actually hit up some of my people from Denver to ask about him. Got some good intel on this dude. To all my understanding and the people that I talk to and trust, they got a guy.
Yeah.
They got a guy. From my understanding, this is what was said to me yesterday. And I was digging into a bunch of details. The guy that I'm talking to is still in the Denver area. Well, he still's with that Denver team. And I was asking him, I was like, man, how is he, man? Is he a solid dude? He's an absolute outstanding young man. Really quiet, but an absolute pro is what he said. So you wouldn't even know he was in the room, but he's always has a great smile. He's not going to seek out conversation. Said, but if you engage him, he'll talk. He's that type of guy. And I was like, okay, you saying all that, and you telling me he's quiet as a church mouse and all this type of stuff. I was like, respectfully, does he have that dog in him? That's all I want. Does he have that dog in him? He said, not going to talk trash, just going to get the job done and fight to the finish.
That's all right.
And then I asked the follow-up question because I need to know if we're going to talk about this. And this dude ended up getting like $50 million. I think we set some markets for as far as centers goes. I said, real lightly, is he soft, though? Definitely not soft.
Yeah.
Said, just quiet by nature, very observant, sits, observes the room. Said, everybody will love this dude as far as his play. Didn't even mention the other side of him, but but as far as his play goes, like you never have to worry about him. Real, anchors well, fights every play, always available, and is a team guy. Mm-hmm. Definitely seems like a dude to me. And the dude I ended up talking to was a respected guy around the league, seen different organizations and what good centers look like also. So really good intel on him. The quiet part, of course, when you hear that type of stuff, you question like, okay, does this dude love football? It's like you don't have to worry about that with him. So it was good. I
just love that I thought of immediately Beyonce's song Upgrade You because you have Aaron Brewer now that has been signed by the Miami Dolphins. I think he's probably way shorter than Tua. And now you've got a guy like this at 6'4", over 300 pounds. Everything that I have heard about from this man is that he is reliable. Yeah. And I loved hearing that. Reliable. Somebody who's on the field. The most he's ever missed, I think, 9 games in 2022. That was the only time that he really missed a significant amount of time. But he's just continued to get better. But I just loved the reliable. You've got a bigger guy at center. Seems like your intel saying that he's just a good hard worker. So let's go.
Yeah, definitely where I am with him. I like that signing.
It's a good fit for the Titans at center. I think the Brewer fit in Miami makes a ton of sense, considering they're not going to drop back and force Tua on a 5-step drop to play in a lot of pass protection situations where Brewer's size is a detriment to him, but he can now get out in space and a lot of those quick screens that they throw and the quick moves that they make to just immediately get the ball out of Tua's hands. If Aaron Brewer is going to succeed anywhere, it feels like it's in that kind of offense.
Well, they didn't blink an eye because they signed him the first day of free agency, so he must have done something to make them think he'll be enough.
Well, he's an elite run blocker as a center. He just can't hold up in pass pro when you ask him to block against a guy bigger than him on a 5-step drop on a 3rd down and 12. But Miami's got fast enough receivers that they can just, hey, go down there and I'm going to throw it to you.
And even that move in the pocket with Tua because of his size and stuff like that, they like to move him around. And as far as Mike McDaniels is concerned, he likes that side-to-side offense, that up and down the field. This fits exactly. Again, you have to go to systems that fit you. That's one to me that fits Aaron Brewer because they love rolling to out with a center. So he'll snap the ball and roll out with them and stuff like that. It's a very fascinating approach to it. Congrats to him. I told you, I thought he'd have a solid market, and he did. At a solid mark. It's just not for Tennessee, and that's all right, too.
And here I am very glad that Lloyd Cushenberry is the guy versus Brewer. The Titans absolutely upgraded for what this offense wants to be and what Will Levis needs at the quarterback position. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. Streaming live at 1045 The Zone TV. Again, coming up this morning, Danny White, Tennessee Athletic Director at 720. Austin Price at 820. And Ron Slay in hour number 4 at 9:20. When we come back, we'll take a look at what the stats say about each of the Titans editions yesterday. Which one was your favorite? We'll give you ours next. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling here for my friends at Lee Company. Are you looking to keep your home in great shape year-round? Well, of course you are. Well, if you are, and I know you certainly will be, sign up for a Lee Company home maintenance plan for $12 a month. Plan members receive 4 service visits a year from the Lee Company team of experts. Any problem you've got, they're going to regularly, routinely make sure that everything is working in tip-top shape. You're going to get a heating system tune-up, an air conditioning tune-up, an electrical inspection, and a detailed plumbing inspection as well. That's 4 annual visits, $12 a month. For the very best in-home service, call Lee Company at 615-567-1000 today or visit them online at leecompany.com and search Home Maintenance Plan to join their membership. Lee Company is the company you need to trust with 80 years of experience since 1944. They're open 24/7, and with 14 community locations in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama, they are truly all you need. 615-567-1000. That's the number online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will is brewed by 8th and Roast on 104.5 The Zone, 615-737-1045, and streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV. What is your favorite addition that the Titans made yesterday? And we could even take it to favorite subtraction. What's the best move the Titans made yesterday? 615-737-1045. We've heard from Ramon Foster that it is Lloyd Cushenberry, with some respect for the interior offensive lineman. Kayla, we could start with you on what your favorite move was yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think I was like overly excited about any particular move. I think we kind of assumed some of the moves that happened yesterday, so I guess I just wasn't as shocked. I maybe was a little shocked that Tony Pollard was added that quickly. However, I would say out of all of the moves, because I'm not going to take the center move, that was Ramon's, I'm going to go with Tony Pollard. And I would say that that was a good move because clearly you aren't going to be bringing back Derrick Henry. And it looks like in this Brian Callahan offense, they want to be a little bit more unpredictable, is what I would say, with the running back position. And look, I know Tony Pollard had a bit of a down year last year with the Dallas Cowboys, coming off of a really productive year the year before. But if you look at that specifically, I think that just goes to show he's not necessarily a one-man show, and he is probably better with a back that can be there in a complementary, not even complementary, but like a duality type of situation. And with Tajay Spears here, I think this is going to make things really interesting for opposing defenses, because you've got two guys now that are pretty good, not only in the run game, but specifically in the pass game. And so if you get two of those guys out there at the same time, what the heck are you doing? Are you running? Are you passing? Yeah. Because both of these guys have the more natural ability to be pass catchers. And it's more unpredictable than it was when you maybe put Derrick Henry in, even with Tajay in those situations. I think the other thing that you have to look at with Pollard last year that might have hindered his production, that might be kind of pulling people back a little bit, is he had suffered that injury the year before. So I think he was just kind of getting familiar with everything. He didn't have Zeke anymore. He was kind of the bell cow, if you may, in that situation last year. So I think with bringing him here this year with Tajay Spears, this is a guy that yards off after contact, are a big thing. That is something you want in your running back. I think he was third behind Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry last year alone, when he was not even playing his best ball with 819. So I don't think he's going to get 200 carries in a system like this with Tajay Spears, but I think he's going to be a really good complement to what they want to do, which is mixing things up and being, again, unpredictable.
So the interesting thing, I saw this from my friend James Foster, who I've actually known since high school. No Flags Film on Twitter, a great follow covering the NFL draft and the NFL for A to Z Sports, said any Tony Pollard analysis has to account for the fact that he was recovering from an ankle sprain / fractured leg and was a different player over the second half of the season. So from weeks 1 to 10, his broken tackle percentage was 39th out of 40 qualifying running backs. His first down percentage, 24th. His PFF rushing grade ranked 34th out of 40 qualifying running backs. From week 11 through the end of the season, he had a 90.8 PFF rushing grade and was the number one running back in the NFL. He had 4.03 yards per carry at that point. Got a lot of opportunities and perhaps was not nearly as efficient as he was as a backup for Ezekiel Elliott, but his EPA per attempt, which is expected points added, if I'm getting that correct, Robert Walsh, who is more of an analytic expert, he gives me a thumbs up. Essentially, the value of what he was bringing to Dallas ranked 7th in the NFL among 40 running backs, and his success rate, 45.5%, 6th. It feels like the Titans are buying lower on guys coming off of injuries last season. Chidobe Awuzie was coming off a torn ACL last season.
Yep.
His value a little bit lower, but you are buying with a lot of upside on Tony Pollard and Chidobe Awuzie specifically. I love what Tony Pollard was able to do once he got healthy and started to look a bit more like himself starting week 11 last season.
Sure.
Yeah. No doubt about it. I absolutely, I do love this Pollard signing. I hope this fan base also don't find it in a situation like, well, we wanted another guy or we wanted Derek back. No, it's a lot of people that I know watch the Dallas Cowboys and for the longest have been saying, and I've been saying, Tony Pollard's been the best running back in Dallas when he was healthy for the last 2-3 years. Like, that's the reason Zeke wasn't there. That's the reason that Jerry Jones and the Cowboys committed to him was because of his production that he had down there in Dallas, man. I really do like this signing. And you know what you get with this signing, too? One, it correlates to me what Brian Callahan and the Cincinnati Bengals have done with Joe Mixon for the longest time. Or Joe Mixon and it's always another guy with him. And I think with Tony Pollard here, you get him and Tajay Spears. The two-back system, to me, is I think probably the best way to go about having a running back or a run game in the NFL. And I love the fact that you got two guys that can do the same thing too.
Yeah.
Both can run in between the tackles. Both can go short yardage. Will told us about that yesterday as it pertains to Tajay Spears in year one. But what you like about this too is the uniqueness of it. Neither back has to come off the field. If you want to go no huddle with somebody or just keep the entire group out there to gas the defense, you can do this with Tony Pollard. You can do this with Tajay Spears. And when you have to supplement another guy in, you can do that too. This gives you, I think, versatility. It gives you the ability to leave your entire playbook open. And the other side of this is he's a proven commodity to me in this league when it comes to Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
He is a running back. You look around at the rest of the running back signings, I think you got a good value for a dude like him, considering what others got. And you know he's coming into a situation where he's going to be paired up with the guy. So the ability to get hot or his ability to teach up Tajay with some of the similar things that he's done in his career, I think is so crucial. He's just at the right age to me to where you can build and stack with a guy like him. I like this move.
Yeah.
I definitely like this move.
He's just
I
26.
like the money.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You got Tajay Spears now that's in his second year. You got Tony Pollard now that's just 26 years old but has the experience in the league, I guess you could say, because he's been around for 6 years, but he's still young in running back age. And then DeMario in the chat, in the FNM Bank chat, I think also mentioned the special teams role he could potentially have on this team. Now, we'll see how that all shakes out. But, yes, that is something you can also utilize him for.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pollard has not returned kicks in Dallas since 2021, but that is something he has done quite a bit. And specifically in 2021, he had a kickoff return for a touchdown in that season.
Lovely pick, man. I'm telling you, just multifaceted to me is what you're getting out of this. I think you see where this offense can potentially go. Tony Pollard, of course, was break glass in case of emergency for Dak Prescott often in games where he's able to throw out to him in those swing routes or just be that guy. I've seen him get conversions on third downs and stuff like that. You have a guy that can go, and that, to me, I think is promising for this team right here. With how you call plays, with how this offense look. We've been saying for the longest, don't be boring and bad. I think adding Tony Pollard keeps you excited, keeps you relevant, keep you ahead of the chains as the type of guy that he is. And, of course, we'll see how many times you see 8, 9-man boxes moving forward. With that, it gives you flexibility to call plays and develop personnel besides that, too.
Yeah, this is something that I was just say Titans fans have not seen in a long time in terms of that type of backfield.
But it serves its purpose as far as Derek is concerned, too. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, yeah, the sun's about to shine now. No, that ain't the case, though, too. Derek served a heck of a purpose here and made a heck of a legacy here in Nashville also. It's just that in today's game, it's a little bit different. And I think this coach, this ain't even a Derek thing, I think this coach and Callahan and his staff want to have that type of balance and not be predictable with how you set your running backs up.
We talked about it yesterday from a money standpoint, that you have so much money just on this season in 2024 that you have the ability to spend on luxury pieces. And Tony Pollard is a luxury piece in a lot of ways within this offense. You didn't have to go get a running back, but it does tell you about the evaluation of other parts of the offseason process, right? And I think it's interesting that a lot of the talk yesterday now is, I think we now know what the NFL feels about this running back class specifically in the draft. That there is not a guy that you could get in day 3 that can step in and do what Isaiah Pacheco has done in Kansas City. You step in and do a Kyron Williams kind of job, right? That this is starting to be the effects of NIL, right? Mm-hmm. You are going to get a premier playmaker like Tony Pollard who fills a luxury position because you have the money to, and because you probably don't believe as much in the guys in the 5th, 6th, 7th round of the draft. I love the move. I think it makes a ton of sense for what they want to do. I think he's a really good athlete. I think you got to find the middle ground where Tony Pollard is most efficient, because at 12.5 carries a game in 2022, he averages 5.2 yards per carry. In 2023, at 14.8 attempts per game, he averaged 4.0 yards per carry. There was a drop-off in production there. We know that the injury part of it certainly was a big part of the equation. I'm curious how much of it was being the number one and being hurt. I don't know that yet.
Yeah.
And he's another year older, but we'll see. I like the move a lot. I think it makes a ton of sense. All right, let's go to Lloyd Cushenberry. To me, this is 100% my favorite, like not even close, move they made yesterday. And it's when I read a report about Lloyd Cushenberry that Russell Wilson and Sean Payton consistently lauded Cushenberry's pre-snap decision-making. Has started all 57 games he's played in over the last 4 seasons. He has had 1,000 snaps in 3 of his 4 seasons. Guys, as much as we have spoken about Brian Callahan asking Will Levis to make a lot of important pre-snap decisions, paying a premium for a center that can help him make those pre-snap decisions is critical.
It is. And again, that the point that I love about what he has going on is 57 and 57. 57 starts, 57 games. That shows to me that they, from day one, they knew he was a guy, and he was that guy. Also on that national championship LSU team, he's played in big-time games, as Brian Callahan said he'd like in these situations. But that point about identifying is something I also got from him, too, is he's a guy that understands fronts. He can make adjustments, make the job easier for Will Levis moving forward, and also setting this offensive line as far as where their mic points and where they're going to. That's very crucial when dealing with a young Peter Skoronski. That's very crucial, and also probably going to have new tackles in the fold, or at least 1 or 2 new tackles in the fold. Heck, at this point, if NPF is out there, it's new for him. So I don't think you guys understand, man. I know you do, but how important it is for your mouthpiece to be the center. He can go up there and point. Mike's 42. And you settle everybody else down from there. Real quick pro tip with us, whenever I play, Marquise Pouncey set the entire defense for us as far as the offensive line, as far as the tight ends, as far as the quarterbacks. Mike's, like I said a second ago, 52. And we go from there. Now, the quarterback make adjustments. But as far as setting who the offensive line wants to go to, that settles everybody else. It settles the tight ends. It settles the quarterback. If the quarterback doesn't like your mic set, it even simplifies the job from there to where he can say, easy, no, lefty, righty. It makes it so much easier when the center understands and can comprehend and can communicate. Get my cans and C's all mixed up. Can
you do the can?
Yeah, can I do the can? Yeah, this is that. But it settles everybody. And when you go on the road and the communication stays at the line of scrimmage and guys can finger point and make those type of designations and stuff, that's huge. And for a young guy like himself, because heck, he still is pretty young, come in as a
26.
starter. 26. Come in as a starter and is just now going to hit those prime years for offensive linemen, years 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are the years in which his professional growth goes further right now. And the other part about this that I like too, even though I was told he's a quiet guy, the inherited leadership that he'll have to have. Because this group is still somewhat young. Like I said, you got Peter over there. You may end up having NPF. They'll end up having another savvy veteran. Maybe it's Brunskill. Yeah, maybe it's Brunskill. Who knows? But you got another think tank inside the offensive line that can help with the growth of Will Levis and everybody else.
Yeah, I like the age is still young, but you've got the experience, kind of like I was saying about Pollard. You've played in a lot of games, and that was something that I mentioned when we started the show, was just the reliability of this guy. He's played in 57 games for the Broncos, only missed 9 games, and that was all in the 2022 season. And his 76.4 pass blocking grade in this last season was actually third best among centers. And his 2.3% pressure rate also ranked third at that position, which these are just like, I know these are stats and stuff, but these are just things to make you kind of paint the bigger picture and say, okay, this guy is really a guy that has been successful at this position and really been consistent at that position. Now you've got him here, and you're right, with Will Levis, who's still a young quarterback, Ramon, that's still learning the game and wants to have somebody to build that with in terms of the guy snapping the ball to him. I think this is a home run hit free agency signing, hands down.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to Brandon first up on the phone lines. What was your favorite move the Titans made yesterday? 615-737-1045. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, good Tuesday morning, guys. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good. Good morning.
Nice. Hey, I'm super stoked and I'm energetic and dude, all the moves that the Titans made, for the future of the Titans and the franchise, I'm excited about it. And then we got the stadium coming and dude, Rams doing it. Getting rid of Tyron Burks and Malik Willis was a big move for me. I was hoping that would happen. And I'm glad that happened. So I'll get your intake on that. What do y'all think about that?
Oh, they're still on the team, Brandon.
Yeah, they are.
They're still there.
No, y'all guys, really?
Yeah.
So I was dreaming.
You were dreaming. It's okay. I did it last night too a lot. Dreaming up.
Dude, I could have swore that they got rid of them too.
Give it time.
All right, we still got a long off season, so maybe.
Hey, Brandon.
I was dreaming.
League year starts on Wednesday.
I love it.
You used to be better than this, Brandon.
Brandon, you keep dreaming.
And
All right.
Bert goes, he's going to
Nothing
call in
wrong
and
with
make
that.
a joke, and I did not expect the joke.
Nothing wrong with that.
615-737-1045. The Titans made 2 defensive additions yesterday, too. We'll give you what you need to know about Chidobe Awuzie and Kenneth Murray next.
Here are some facts about engagement rings you need to know. There are 10 premier bridal designers every woman knows about. They're like the Mercedes or the Louis Vuitton of engagement rings. World-class, iconic, quality names. Names like Tacori and Verragio. These designers are hard to get, and every jewelry store wants them. But very few make the cut, so they have to settle for lesser brands or knockoffs. Around here, there's only one jewelry store that offers these premium rings, and it's Genesis Diamonds. Genesis is the only one that made the cut that meets the highest standards. Genesis is the only store that's allowed to offer these exceptional brands that women really want. Other stores are jealous of this and will try and convince you that these are more expensive and try to get you to settle for something else. But the truth is, Genesis has top quality designer rings for under $2,000. And it's not about the price. It's about the craftsmanship and quality and detail and individuality. So don't compromise and please don't settle. Get her a world-class ring she will be proud to wear. Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs. Also home to the state's largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
Tuesday morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. RKW is brewed by 8th and Rose. 615-737-1045 as the Titans make 2 additions defensively yesterday. We've spoken about Tony Pollard and Lloyd Cushenberry. How about Chidobe Awuzie and Kenneth Murray? Chidobe Awuzie, let's start there, guys. Move that made a lot of sense that we spoke about could be coming yesterday. Now that we have had Kentley Platte on the show, relative athletic score is something that is in our vocabulary in terms of these players as draft prospects. Chidobe Awuzie had a 9.64 relative athletic score, placing him 47th out of over 1,200 corners from 1987 to 2017. What do we like about Awuzie?
His veteran leadership right now, which is overly necessary for this team. Proven playmaker, has been nothing but above board as far as coverage for the Bengals for a while now. You look at his PFF grade, and it pretty much tells you the story of what his strong suits is, and it's in coverage. Is he a run-stopping corner? No, it doesn't seem that way. Will he? Yes, he will. But as far as his specialty, it is pass coverage, and he's been consistently good for them. Maybe one dip in his career here or there, but he's been a mainstay around the NFL when it comes to making plays, and that's one thing that you need here in Nashville is to match that rush with the coverage, and he seems to be a guy that's capable of doing that type of stuff. And of course, we'll see if Roger McCreary is holding down the other side of this thing, but at least you know you're blanketed on one side that somebody will think twice about picking on when it comes to a Chidobe Awuzie.
If you look at his numbers from 2023, probably not the best numbers. 63.2% completion rate, 113.5 passer rating and coverage, but he was coming off of, like we said, that torn ACL, and that is always tough. That year after, I don't care what position it is, like it is going to take a minute to get right. I mean, we saw it with Harold Landry this year. He just started to get things together towards the end of the season. You're like, oh, that's the Harold Landry we know. Because before that season that he tore his ACL, he was a crucial part of their run to the Super Bowl that year in terms of that secondary. And I know Kelsey Conway, our good friend that does great work over there in Cincinnati, she had also really boasted about his leadership and how he'll be a great addition in that room where it is very young. I also loved, I was looking through his Twitter X page, and at the very top, he's got a pinned type of, collage of him playing at Cincinnati. And the very first thing is him talking at a press conference. And the one thing that stood out to me there was he mentioned this aggressive attacking defense that they played in Cincinnati. And that put the light on in my head. Well, that sounds familiar because when Denard Wilson took the podium for the first time here in his presser, that's the first thing he said he wanted out of this type of defense, because they wouldn't go into specifics about what this defense is exactly going to be yet. But that was the one thing that he wants to be identified as an attacking, aggressive defense. So I thought that was interesting too. Well, this is a player who definitely fits that. And I think we'll see an uptick probably in numbers this year coming off of that 2 years now removed from the ACL.
Before the injury on Halloween 2022, Chidobe Awuzie, who is 29 this summer, from weeks 1 to 8 in 2022, according to Next Gen Stats, ranked 5th in the NFL in catches allowed below expectation, which is essentially saying we're going to grade every throw at corners. How many catches do you allow versus what you are expected to allow based on your positioning, where the wide receiver is, where the throw is, and things of that nature that people who are way smarter than all of us put together. But those stats do like Awuzie in 2022. You are betting on the fact that he will be back to his 2022 self in 2024. Awuzie's deal is for 3 years, $25.5 million with $17.5 million guaranteed, according to a source who spoke to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. We do have to remind people this time of the free agent calendar, wait until the specifics come out. Mm-hmm. On Spot Track, on Over the Cap, wherever you decide to look at numbers and grade contracts, all of the contract details we're getting right now are what agents want out there until teams can then put things out there. Because in the legal tampering period, you can only talk to agents. You can't even talk to players unless, in Michael Winu's case, you are self-represented. And that's a new rule that has been added recently, that if you represent yourself, you can talk immediately with a team and directly with a team. But in no other circumstance you can, wink, wink, because that certainly doesn't happen. But I do think that it is not time to talk about numbers yet until we have specifics on void years, when you can get out of a deal, what incentives look like, what a cap hit looks like. So we truly, at this point, have no idea how much the Titans still have left to spend for 2024 at least. Let's talk about Kenneth Murray, 52.9 PFF grade this past season, 25-year-old who has started 53 games in 4 seasons with the Chargers. Looks to be at least the first of what we expect to be many replacements for Azeez Al-Shire, Titans leading tackler who signed with the Texans yesterday.
Yeah, it does. To me, looking at his tape, man, and what's been said about him and written about him and stuff like that, former first round, if you did not know, he was number 23rd overall pick and everything. Just looking at his tape, he seemed like he serves a purpose, and that purpose is to go run and thump. That seems to be his game right there. See ball, get ball is the way his approach is going to be. Now, again, he's got some size to him, got some length. As far as coverage go, I know we talked about this a little bit before pre-show. That's something that has to get better for his style of ball. But seeing what the DNA of what Denard Wilson's defense is going to look like, maybe he wants a thumper guy and maybe he wants a coverage guy. We'll see how the roles are defined as far as what he wants. But as far as aggressiveness, Kenneth Murray Jr. has that. As far as the ability to see ball, get ball, he is going to do that. Turning down smoke is not in his conversation. I don't think it's in his DNA. You look him up, the conversations around him is he's been training with pros since high school. That's the way he's operated. Now, again, I'm not sure if he's hit his ceiling as far as expectation, how much better he's going to get at, I think, 24 years old, as far as his age.
Kenneth Murray?
Kenneth Murray. How
25.
25 years old. Sorry about it, 1 year off. Trying to make him younger. As far as being 25 years old, he can ascend to being better. But the conversation will go to, if he gets caught in a sub defense, can he drop in protection?
And see, that's the thing that's interesting. And I think that's the thing that people are a little bit like, what is this signing maybe? Because I had somebody immediately text me about this signing and say, I actually really like it. Much better player when it comes to tackling and blitzing, obviously. For some reason, the Chargers tried to drop him back in coverage. So that we're touching on right now. That's not his game. Great sideline to sideline, very good blitzing as we see by his numbers. I think people will actually be pleasantly surprised if the Titans use him correctly. So
11 missed tackles last year for Murray, who had over 500 coverage snaps for the Chargers. Maybe not his strength, but that is where he was used quite a bit in LA. 615-737-1045. There's reporting out there about the current offer to now former Titan Derrick Henry. We'll react to that next.
What's going on, 701, you bunch of legal tamperers from the 104.5 The Zone Studios? I am Robert Walsh. Titans getting 4 deals done yesterday, 2 on offense, 2 on defense. We'll start on offense. Tony Pollard, former Dallas running back, signing a 3-year, $24 million deal. And also on the offensive side, Lloyd Cushenberry, a center from the Denver Broncos, 4 years, $50 million, sets records among centers, including signing bonus over $18 million, fully guaranteed, which was $26 million, and first-year cash, which was $20 million. Now to the defensive side, cornerback from the Bengals, Chidobe Awuzie, signing a 3-year, $36 million deal with $23 guaranteed. And late in the night last night, Kenneth Murray, linebacker from the Chargers, former first-round pick, signing a 2-year, $15.5 million deal worth up to $18 million. Now, all these contracts are just what's being reported. They cannot, it might be a little off. You got to wait till the actual numbers come out. But rather than go through every deal that happened yesterday, we'll talk about what happened overnight. You might have missed it while you were sleeping. Former Jags cornerback released last week, Darius Williams, headed back to the Rams, the team he won the Super Bowl with, on a 3-year deal. Backup quarterback, seeing some movement as Aaron Rodgers got a new backup quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, headed to the Jets. Sam Darnold from San Francisco to Minnesota, signing a 1-year deal with the Vikings worth up to $10 million. And the biggest trade from yesterday, Brian Burns, who was on the franchise tag, getting sent to New York for a 2nd and a 5th-round pick. The Giants then signed Burns to a 5-year, $141 million deal with $76 million guaranteed at signing. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
One day down in legal tampering 2024. And with 1 hour down and 3 to go on Tuesday morning's RKW, there is a lot to discuss. We are brewed up, as always, by our friends at 8th and Roast, locally owned and operated by lifelong friends turned business partners who design local shops as a way to feel welcomed, connected, and part of a community. You can find them in your community of Middle Tennessee, here in downtown Nashville, at the Broadview at Vanderbilt, 8th Avenue, Charlotte, or at the airport when you travel. 8th and Roast Coffee cultivates community by the cup. 615-737-1045. What is the best move the Titans made yesterday? You can call in, talk with Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, myself, Will Bowling. And coming up in 15 minutes, Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White will join the show. We'll talk some Vols as well. Guys, we've got reporting last night about Derrick Henry and the offer. Ben Stainbrook writing last night on Twitter, the offer that Baltimore has reportedly discussed making with him in the range of $6.5 million per year. Lie or legit?
I'm going to lean legit. I lean legit on that one.
Okay.
Just because Derrick's a commodity, number one. The 1-year deal is just because of the age I would almost expect, and Derrick's probably wants to, well, it's pretty much been said he wants to go win a ring. So when it comes down to the commitment for a guy like him, the average, I think, salaries that was given out over the last couple of days is about, $8 million, I think, $7 to $8 million for 1 year. All the running backs, I think, got that average. And Derrick would probably be right below that, considering I think it'd end up being a role for him. If he does choose to go to Baltimore, I look at his situation and say he will be a running back by committee. That's what they do. Between Lamar Jackson himself having the capabilities of running the ball, which he doesn't do a whole lot like he used to, but they've always had 2 or 3 running backs that do the job of one, and that would be Derrick's role to me. Again, when you look at what you're asking of Derrick also, you're asking him to be your short yardage guy, your bruiser type of dude, but Baltimore's offense isn't predicated on just giving the ball, I don't think, to one running back 20-plus times a game. And that's why I think the $6 million figure, to me, plays a part in it. Now, Bert, I've said all this type of stuff. Do y'all hand the ball to one running back for the most part 20 times a game?
No, they mix it up.
They mix it up.
when you talk about Justice Hill, J.K. Dobbins, Keaton Mitchell, Gus Edwards, those guys get touches in different parts of the field. They kind of specialize, whether it's in the red zone, if it's down in distance situations. It all depends who they're going to use.
So when the conversation came out that Derek, would get 2 for 20, I hope he does. And I'm glad to say I'll be wrong if that comes up from the Cowboys or, heck, if Tampa Bay wants to sign him or something like that, right? But when you look at the age, you consider the tread that's left on the tires and what you're asking him to do at this point in his career. I think it's a role. So the 1 for 6 with incentives up to whatever the case may be is very fair, especially if he's going to a team that he needs, but, won't necessarily need him. They want him. And that's why I look at Derek's situation as being, to me.
I would go, you said it was a legit.
I say legit. Yeah, I
mean,
legit.
I'd say, and I get, and those are good points in the fact that the age plays into it. If you're the Baltimore Ravens, like you said, they don't necessarily use their backs like that. It'd be a different role. But I'll go lie. And I'll say this because I think Derrick Henry knows his worth. And I think that teams know Derrick Henry knows his worth. Look, the guy, besides the year that he had the foot fracture, has been completely healthy, has played in every game, and has proven that he's one of the best top 5 backs in the league year after year, despite even turning 30 this year. And I get that the tread on the tires is there, but until you see a significant decline, at least Derrick Henry is thinking, I'm not going to take a 1-year deal because I've got to benefit myself too in this situation. And I think if you're the Ravens, maybe these are numbers that are being put out here right now, like we had mentioned before on the show with the agents. Nothing is official yet, and there's numbers flying around in terms of years and money. So maybe this is a thing where these are numbers that are out there. They're not necessarily true, because I would at least think a 2-year deal for Derrick, because then you're saying, hey, Derrick, we're going to give you a little padding on this. It's not just a 1-year thing. We already know you've proven it in the league year after year. So I think in that situation, guys, it's more of a lie. Now, is it distinctively different with the numbers? Maybe not. I'd think at least 7, 8. I know Sam Munson mentioned 10 a year. I think that's Monson mentioned 10 a year. That's too much, I think. I don't think that he'll be going anywhere close to that. But I'd say at least 7 or 8.
And we don't know the amount of years Baltimore has offered Derrick. All we know is 6.5 a year, according to Ben Stainbrook. Cleveland Browns.
So not just a year.
Yes. All we know is 6.5 per year is the offer. I think it's a complete lie. Think of the incentive that an agent has to put out a lower number and win in the court of public opinion and get someone else to jump in that market and say, oh, we could pay that. We could do more than that, actually. Plus, I just believe that on the first day of legal tampering, most every number we see is a lie in some context. Like, until we have final, tangible, contractual details, it is in an agent's best interest to give a number out to Garofolo, Rossini, Rappaport, Schefter. That is the biggest possible number that contract can possibly be, with all of the incentives and all those boxes checked. On the converse side, it also makes sense for them to put out the lowest possible number if their player is still out there and is looking for a market that has not heated up in the way that they expected it to.
And if you look at the teams that have been claimed to have interest in Derrick Henry, the Dallas Cowboys, the Baltimore Ravens, the Houston Texans, 2 of those 3 teams, the Cowboys and the Ravens, have the lowest available cap space known right now. So there's restructures that still have to be done. Teams have to still get cap compliant by Wednesday, but the Ravens aren't even cap compliant right now. So what this tells me is the Cowboys and the Ravens are playing the song of, oh, we don't have that much money, but we'd love to have you, kind of like what the Chiefs did with DeAndre Hopkins last year, and their agents flying that out saying, hey, this number's not going to work. Somebody please pay Derrick. Someone good, please pay Derrick, because he would like to be paid accurately for his services. But I think in the end, you're going to see both sides cave a little bit. He'll probably get a 2-year deal so they can spread the cap hit out to next year, where it's not as so strapped as it is right now. But probably trying to get the Texans or somebody to fork over a little bit more money, teams that have a little bit more money.
I see him going to Baltimore. Where do y'all see him going to? Dallas or Houston?
I still think Dallas for some reason. I don't know what. I've kind of had that in the back of my mind for a while now. So, and I like the Baltimore fit. I really do. I think that he would be a great addition, especially come playoff time for that team. But for some reason, I just think the Cowboys, the brand, he would have a chance to go win a championship there, although they've proven for the past several years they can't get past the hump. Dang, well, maybe it takes Derrick Henry to get to that point. But I think I'll say Cowboys.
Could you imagine Derrick Henry and Deuce Vaughn standing next to each other?
My goodness.
There would have never been a bigger difference in size between two players at the same position in the history of this great league we call the National Football League.
How tall is Deuce?
I believe 5'6".
Dang.
Deuce Vaughn is listed at 5'6", 176.
Oh, my God.
That is what
Is
Derrick
he?
Henry makes normal-looking people look like, with respect to Deuce Vaughn, who is a world-class athlete. But I guess maybe he does look pretty normal. But that's probably really mean for me to say to all you short kings listening out there. But, like, genuinely, there's about a foot difference in... Like, Derrick Henry is two Deuce Vaughns in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. You want to talk about a yin and a yang situation. Like, I don't get no more yin or yang than
You know that movie Twins?
Yeah.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
Just like the height difference.
It's just big time.
Unfortunately, I got a bug in my britches. I feel like he's going to the Texans, man.
Really?
Yeah.
They've just
Right.
been so petty this offseason. They've got the money to spend. They need a running back. The draft class isn't great. They already went out and signed 2 other Titans. I feel like this is a stick it in the craw move. I feel like this is a you have the Oilers jersey, we're going to take your guy move. Oof. You wanted C.J. Stroud, we took your guy move. It just seems like something they would do.
In the F&M Big Chat, DeMario says Vaughn and Dion Lewis are about the same height. We've seen this before.
Oh.
We actually haven't because Dion Lewis was 5'8", 195. This is 5'6", like 160 to 170.
2 inches taller.
He's even smaller than Dion Lewis was.
Dang.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Coming up next, we are joined by Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White as we discuss Tennessee's trip to the SEC tournament here in Nashville, facility upgrades happening all around Knoxville, and how Tennessee is preparing for a new era of college athletics. Danny White joins us next.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson with QC Kinetics, and it is that time of year. We've seen some good temperatures so far this week, so you want to get out, enjoy life, and stop getting that pain in your joints, keeping you from doing what you love to do this spring and summer. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and I'm talking about lasting joint pain relief. No surgery, no need for drugs or downtime. In fact, QC Kinetics is literally transforming lives with their advanced treatments that actually harness your own body's ability to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue. So we've seen pro athletes, they've been doing this for decades, but now this life-changing treatment is also available for you. So you can walk, run, go play golf, climb the stairs, whatever you want to do, pain-free. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients who have reclaimed their mobility. Take action now and live your best life this spring and summer. And hey, if you're getting your tax refund check, great way to spend it. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation, 615-249-4024. That's QC Kinetics at 615-249-4024.
Tuesday morning rolls on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast with VFL Ramon Foster.
Yay.
Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. I'm Will Bowling. It is a great week to be a Vols fan in Nashville as Tennessee makes its way to the SEC tournament at Bridgestone Arena. And it's a great time to listen to the athletic director of the University of Tennessee, Danny White, who joins us here this morning. Good morning, Danny. How are you?
Doing great. How are y'all doing this morning?
We're good.
We are good. If we were any better, I think we'd be Danny White with a couple of top 10 teams starting the spring season with Tennessee basketball in contention for a 1 seed. How fun is your job right now?
It's fun. It's exhausting. It's all those things. But man, it's fun just to be around this university right now, and our fan base is absolutely electric. But we got a good thing going with so many sports competing at such a high level.
Well, Danny, let's start with basketball as they make their way here to Nashville for the SEC tournament this week. And Rick Barnes knows so much. His resume speaks for itself. But as you spend time with him, what impresses you the most about the way he goes about his business day to day?
He's just so steady. And he's committed to his players and doing it the right way. And when I think about Rick and his program, and it's such a buzzword these days, but I keep just coming back to culture. He's got unbelievable young men in his program, and they come in. He recruits high quality, high character kids, but he develops them too, and they're bought into each other. And I think our fans see that on the court. It shows itself, and it's not that every single day. He's just so much fun to be around. He's so much experience and just doing it the right way. So proud that he's our basketball coach.
And Danny, it's cool too, just looking at the way he's adapted over time and even in his career just at Tennessee in doing different things and using the transfer portal and different elements of recruiting to have so much success. How much do you rely on him to also be a resource to other coaches within your athletic department of someone, as an example, who has adapted with college athletics over time?
Yeah, every sport's different, and, all of our coaches have different personalities, and they need to be who they are, but they can learn from each other, too, and Rick's certainly had a ton of experience and a lot of success over a long number of years at multiple different institutions, and he's kind of got a formula here in Knoxville with his basketball program right now. And so I know all of our coaches talk to each other a lot. We try to encourage that as much as possible. We do an annual coaches retreat where we do some professional development, and it's really mostly about them hearing from each other and see where we can learn from each other and create more competitive advantages. But he's really supportive of our coaches, as all of our men and women are leading our programs, which is great. Our student athletes see that. They follow that. It becomes contagious. I think it's a big part of why we're having so much success across the board.
University of Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White with us this morning. Danny, I have to ask you, after watching the senior day this past weekend for the basketball team, how good of a career that those guys have, and how proud are you of them for what they've done, considering in their senior year winning the SEC championship outright? But I know a guy like Josiah Jordan-James has been on some leadership councils with you. How's that time been with him and that group of guys, and now including Dalton Connect with it also?
Yeah, it was really cool to experience that. Thinking about Josiah and Santi, I've been here 3 years now, and it feels like 5 minutes sometimes. Sometimes it feels like 30 years, but I've been around those guys now for quite a while, and it's just that's probably a newness for me at Tennessee, just because I just the recency of how I got here, and but it's been really cool to see them develop and their commitment to each other and to the program, to Rick. The whole thing is just phenomenal. We went through that ceremony with them last year before we knew they were coming back, and just really cool to honor them and celebrate them in that way before the game. And shoot, Dalton, I feel like he's been here a whole career as much as he scored this season. So that was pretty cool to see the arena just erupt when his name was announced. What a special story for him to go through what he has, and Collins made such a big impact on the program behind the scenes and in practice. And basketball is such a unique sport. Every sport has their own uniqueness, but our fans see the five guys on the court, but every single one of those players all the way down the bench, they all know each other and love each other. They've sweated on each other and grinded and worked so hard 12 months out of the year. So it's just cool to be able to have those kind of moments.
The SEC is ever changing right now with the incorporation of a couple new teams. Oklahoma and Texas coming in, if I'm not mistaken, next year. I just had to ask you, because you're a competitor. I know you come from a family of competitors too. Has Oklahoma and Texas been talking trash? ADs have been talking trash the way their fans have been? Because I'm hearing a lot from the other UT. Okay, and that's what I hope you call them, Danny, is the other UT and the OK school. Is that fair?
No, it's more than fair. They talk some smack, I'm talking right back. I really respect Joe Castiglione at Oklahoma, Chris Del Conte at Texas, two of the best in the business. They have great athletic departments. They're well-rounded like we are. I think they're really going to help our league, and I'm looking forward to the competition. What we talk about in our halls is, when we say we want to compete for SEC championships, that means competing for national championships. That's how good you have to be to win a conference championship in this league, and them coming in even makes that more the case, raises the bar a little bit. So let's bring it on. Let's get after it. Looking forward to it.
No doubt.
Director of Athletics for the University of Tennessee, Danny White, joining us this morning on RKW. And speaking of championships, Danny, Greg Sankey said it last year at the SEC tournaments here in Nashville. He said, look, the SEC in terms of basketball is up there now. And they've done such a good job of growing this league overall in this, conference. Danny, what is it going to take this year for, an SEC team, specifically Tennessee, to get to that Final Four? And do you think this is the team to do it?
I think there's a lot of SEC teams that could get to the Final Four. I hope we're one of them, and there could be multiple. The league is so deep. We have really good coaching across the board. The investments I think that a lot of different universities have made into men's basketball are showing up on the floor. It's a deep league. There's NCAA tournament worthy teams in our conference that aren't going to make the field, and there's certainly more than one that can make the Final Four. I think there's a handful. Obviously, we're coming in as regular season champions. We're proud of that. It's a one seed heading into the tournament in Nashville. I love our team. I think we have obviously the depth and experience and a coach that's been through the wars, and we have a lot of diversity with which we can play. So I think that really helps you getting into NCAA tournament play with just the different lineups we can put on the floor. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to a deep run, and I know our fans are excited too.
Danny, with just the success overall of Tennessee athletics, I mean, you go down the board, football, basketball, women's softball, baseball, just everything I feel like is right there in terms of competitiveness. How competitive then is it for when you have recruits coming in and they're able to, go to a basketball game when they're on campus and see the electric atmosphere that you guys provide there, or at a baseball game? How, in this day and age, beneficial is that to see overall success of an athletics program when you're bringing in these recruits?
Yeah, I think it's important. We talk about bringing in like-minded men and women that are serious about making the most of themselves as a student, as a person, as an athlete. We want competitors here, and that's in all 20 of our sports. I'm really proud of the fact that we've won the last two SEC All-Sports Cups. This university had never won one in the 40 years or so of that award being given out. We don't want to ever give it back. We're very serious about competing in every single sport we have across the board, and that means a championship culture every single day. You can't just choose when to be competitive. You need to be competitive every day. So while we've had these two All-Sports Cup years, being the most competitive across the board in the league, we've also had 4 straight semesters where our GPA set a new record. And the last 2 semesters, our student-athlete GPA, every single team was over a 3.0 average GPA. So they're competing in every single thing that they do. I'm really proud of all these kids. They're representing this university and this state in a first-class way.
Danny White, Tennessee Athletic Director, our guest this morning on 104.5 The Zone. Danny, with facility upgrades to Neyland Stadium, I imagine it is difficult to balance the history in a place like that while also modernizing it in a way that fans enjoy. What do you think fans will like the most about your vision and the university's vision for modernizing and updating Neyland Stadium?
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I actually just got a facility update yesterday and became more keenly aware of the amount of things we're doing. We have about $500 million in capital projects underway right now. And obviously, Neyland is the biggest one at $337 million. Upgrades to the concourses are the biggest thing as I think about the amount of people that will experience that. That's the size of them, the amenities need to get better, and we understand that. The ingress and egress of the stadium, getting people in and out, needs to get better, and that a lot of that has to do with the size of our concourses and the way we're set up. So there'll be some aesthetic things that really make the stadium pop, and it'll make it prettier, but more importantly, it'll make it more functional. We're adding some premium spaces. We've already done that with the Lower West Club and the North End Zone deck. We're doing that with Founder Suites, and what I want fans to know is that's important for the experience of those people, but it's way more important for a funding model. You know, when we add a premium area, it pays for itself 4 or 5 times over. So those excess revenues can help us reinvest in things that don't generate revenue. You know, making the concourse 30 feet instead of 12 feet wide doesn't generate.
I think we. Danny, I think we
indirect parts of the stadium.
Oh, we got you. Sorry, Danny. You cut out there for a minute, but we got you back there. Just lost a second, but
sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, all good. But on that facilities front too, Danny, I'm curious when. I imagine your job has changed a lot in the last 5 years as college athletics changes, and maybe in 5 more years, all of this could look a little bit different. How do you make plans long term in terms of empowering coaches, giving them the resources that they need, planning facilities upgrades, knowing that so much of what you guys do and so much of college athletics is changing year by year?
Yeah, it's a balancing act. You know, we're trying to live in the moment and be as competitive as we can right now, while also serving a leadership role on what the future of college sports looks like and the future of our conference and our university. So we kind of need to try to balance all those things. It's challenging right now, but it's not like we're alone in that. Everyone in college sports is dealing with those same dynamics, and so we just got to do the best we can and try to make decisions for the right reasons and not forget why we're here, which is to develop these men and women and make sure that they have a phenomenal experience. If we do that, we're going to like the results.
One of the things that happen when you have a good team or your quality raises up as far as coaching and teams is you get poached. And Coach Heupel somewhat dealt with that this offseason as far as coaches leaving, going to other places. How has it been with him navigating those waters, finding the guys that he wants to, and somewhat replenishing his staff through this time of losing coaches because of other opportunities?
Yeah, I think it's a compliment to our program that people want, other schools want our people, and folks need to make decisions for what they think is in their best interest professionally and personally and all those things. And I like positive attrition. I want our staff I want assistant coaches to have opportunities to be head coaches, and we've seen that several times over the last few years. And I want our administrative staff to have opportunities to be athletic directors. And we had a little bit of attrition in football in terms of not necessarily going to be a head coach, but be an assistant on another bench, but maybe it's a little better title or a little more money and things like that. We know that we're invested at a very, very competitive level nationally, and we want stability, but positive attrition isn't always a bad thing.
UT Athletics Director joining us this morning on the show, Danny White. And Danny, when it comes to just the future of college athletics, but specifically college football, what has been maybe the most fun part of all of this change with NIL and the transfer portal, and what has maybe been the more challenging part here as we're in the midst of it?
Yeah, it's been probably more challenge than fun from my chair. Coming into Tennessee, obviously with the investigation we're already underway with, and just trying to navigate these waters. And y'all know, and people have been talking about it nationally. We need rules, we need guidelines, and it's just so unclear what the rules and regs are around NIL, and that speaks to confusion at the student athlete level. I think about high school recruits and their parents and how confused they must be entering this space, and certainly at the university level. So we have to get it cleaned up nationally. I'm one of hundreds of people saying that, but doing that is a lot more complicated. The fun part is seeing student athletes able to monetize their name, image, and likeness and get that experience while they're in college. I love seeing our kids on commercials and engaging with the marketplace. I think it's really good for their personal development. It's a really cool opportunity for them, and obviously getting compensated for that is awesome as well. So we just need to get it organized.
Danny White has been our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Danny, before we let you go, is there a bigger fan of Tennessee athletics than Tony Vitello? Because it's amazing to me. Like, the guy's wearing a Zakai Ziegler jersey or jersey, whatever it is, like, hyping up his own players, maybe taunting others every now and then. Like, is there anyone who loves Tennessee as much as that guy right now?
I love it. Love seeing him out supporting other teams, and we have other coaches doing the same stuff, and
yep.
It's just a really cool environment right now, and we're gonna continue to do that, continue to support each other and celebrate our successes, and it's a lot more fun when there's a ton of success happening across the board, and I think Tony would be the first to say that as well.
I also got to ask you, when the NCAA football video game dropped this year, will you be taking time off with your kids to play games like everybody else that I know will? Because that's the only talk I hear is this NCAA College Football 25. Will you also be taking a day off?
I don't know that I'll be taking a day off. I might. My 11-year-old, there's a constant debate on our house on screen time for his Xbox. So maybe I'll have to ask him to teach me how to play it.
Smart.
Gotcha.
Ramon and Kayla have the same debate with me. That's all right, Danny. Danny White has been our guest this morning here on 104.5 The Zone. Danny, I know there are a lot of people in this city very appreciative of the work you've done and the work that is going on to make Tennessee athletics the powerhouse that it is right now. We are enjoying following it from here in the Mid-State. Thank you as always for the time.
Thanks, Danny.
No question, guys. We're going to keep grinding. We're far from done. We're going to build the best athletic department in the country here in Tennessee. Appreciate y'all having me this morning.
Absolutely.
Love
Appreciate it.
There he is, Danny White, with us this morning here on the show, talking some Vols and getting ready for a big week for a lot of Tennessee fans here in the Mid-State.
No doubt about it, man. And, of course, trying to figure out this NCAA football.
I love it.
Everybody I know.
He's like, I've got time that my kid can play, like on the screens.
Screen time is a real thing. No, that's a real thing, okay? You don't want to get too far in the shadows on that one.
Coming up, Titans options that have gone elsewhere. We'll dive back into the NFL free agency discussion as one safety stays within his division and isn't coming to this one. Next. RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will is brewed by 8th and Rose to 104.5 The Zone. Appreciate Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White for joining us. If you missed that conversation, you can find it wherever you download podcasts coming up soon. And as soon as it is up, we will let you know. Mm-hmm. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling with you. Who is the one that got away? The guy that you wanted to be a Titan who went elsewhere yesterday. Guys, I'll start. Geno Stone going to the Bengals. I would have absolutely loved for him to be a Tennessee Titan. However, I think Blaine Bishop brought up a good point yesterday, listening to Blaine and Mickey, that you spend a lot of your money based on position by position, and you have a smaller cap per position group. And as much as the Titans are paying Amani Hooker already at the safety position, does that make them less likely to spend a lot on another safety?
Yeah, I think so. It's balancing act. That is a part of it, too, unless you just got 2 or 3 studs, that you say, oh, we'll keep this together as long as we possibly can. There's some truth in that, absolutely.
Yeah, Geno Stone started 11 games with the Ravens last year, 19 in 4 years with the team. 2-year, $15 million deal with Cincinnati. Had 7 interceptions last season for the number 1 ranked defense in the league in Baltimore. Who else went elsewhere that you had your eye on and would have been interested in yesterday?
I loved Frankie Louvu, and we talked about this, I think, on our show last week. I know that the money was big time when it comes to him, but the production had been there in Carolina. He was such a force and obviously a hot commodity as the Washington Commanders sign him. But we're now looking at a situation at linebacker where I think a lot of people are scratching their heads because even with the signing of Kenneth, I'm like now even drawing a blank.
Murray.
Yeah, Kenneth Murray, thank you. A lot of people are like, okay, was this the right move? This is kind of an interesting move. Some people calling it a project, even though he's been in the league for a minute now, just because the production with the Chargers wasn't there. And so you look at him as a physical guy, yeah, but is he a guy that you can count on yet? I don't know. And so that's a position that I'm still worried about, guys. And they have not signed, as it goes with the Titans, anybody from their free agent group except for Morgan Cox. So we're still out there with some of these linebackers. Aziz goes to Houston. I don't know what's going on with Dr. Gibby. I mean, he hasn't been signed, obviously, and I don't even know if he'd be a fit at all in this specific defense.
The guy that got away from me, but now seeing what he ended up getting, it wasn't in your wheelhouse to pay that type of price for him.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's Leonard Williams for me. I like him. I thought he could do good here. I think this D-line needs one outside piece. I know DJ Reader's still out there. And the other one, too, that I've been a fan of for a little while is Grover Stewart, but he ended up going back to the Colts. Those are the 2 dudes to me, and I don't know why I'm out here rooting for defensive linemen. But
It's very unlikely.
I don't know why I'm out here rooting for D-line, but I understand what the trenches mean, and I understand what the heavy crown that Jeff wears week in and week out by saying just double team him and we'll do work. That's why I've been asking for a veteran guy. And I know they got some young guys in-house that, they're somewhat high on and they feel like they can work with. But when you look at, of course, Tracy Rocker's situation, how he can coach guys up and the expectation of the dudes that is going to be needed to keep this team above board, and you're in a division that will be run-centric, I think, for the most part, or rely on the running game a good bit. And that's why I also think the Kenneth Murray signing I think will play a different role than what we're expecting him to. He seems to be a see-ball, get-ball guy, blitzing dude. And if Denard Wilson's going to have an attacking defense, I'm looking for a playmaking D tackle too.
I also, real quick, it was hard to see Danico Autry go, and not only go, but go to the Houston Texans. And I think even Jeffrey Simmons retweeted something that said, you are not going to go send him to the Texans, or he's not going to go to the Texans. But yeah, he is. And that's a piece that has been pretty valuable on that D-line. And, you don't have T.R. Tart anymore. So that was a tough one, I think, too. I know he's older, but he had a great season. It's hard to shy away from that.
Congrats.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Interesting, the business of free agency and how ugly it gets for 2 players specifically. Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones, who yesterday are replaced and then cut immediately after the running back market already exploded. And Aaron Jones has just agreed to a deal with the Minnesota Vikings, according to reports. So he has at least found a home. But last night, Cincinnati Bengals say, hey, Joe Mixon, you're out, and Zach Moss, you're in. And that is a tough thing to do with someone who has spent his entire career with your organization. If you were going to cut him, you could have done it before free agency started and given him an opportunity to maximize his value. And now everyone who was willing to pay a running back top dollar has already paid top dollar to running backs, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 teams maximum between Baltimore, Dallas, and Houston who are still in the market. That to me is, I'm not going to say it's bad business, but it is, it's harsh business, to say the least, from Cincinnati and from Minnesota, but more so from Cincinnati.
I'm glad you point that out, because a lot of people will not blame teams, but will blame players for leaving.
Or I should say Green Bay, not Minnesota.
Yeah, Green Bay.
He's going to Minnesota.
I'm glad that you just brought that up, because the reality of what the business is sometimes gets skewed because the teams can control the narrative. And, of course, you love your team, like the players, but you're going to always love your teams. So the teams never do bad in these situations. But you're 100% correct on that one. They somewhat hose those dudes, man, as far as their earnings potential.
Yeah, especially Aaron Jones. I mean, because he got released yesterday, and you know these teams they're doing business days prior. I mean, they've already got in their head who they're ready to go and get. And you're right, it put him at a disadvantage. Well, now he's going to the same division at least. So when you match up against Green Bay, at least do your thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And Danny in the Borough, our resident Bengals fan, says in the chat, and he's right, that it was known that Mixon was gone for months, and that is accurate. But at least with Aaron Jones, like Josh Jacobs had been signed in Green Bay for hours, and then Aaron Jones was released. Like they did all of that in the same fail swoop in Cincy. And that doesn't mean that it was all communicated at the same time. It just means that, hey, hold off on announcing this until we've added this guy. And you give yourself more leverage as a team when you're adding someone as a luxury piece, who then becomes the necessity. But
even if it was known he was going to get cut legally, his agent couldn't go out and talk to teams about deals legally.
Exactly.
Now he probably did, but still, that's the reason they're not called Class-and-Natty.
Go ahead and do it. Do it over the weekend.
Hey,
give him an opportunity to get top dollar. 615-737-1045 is our number. Second half of the show next. What surprised you the most on the first day of NFL free agency? We'll talk about that next.
it's going to be a big Saturday night in Smashville as the Preds continue their march towards clinching a spot in the playoffs. On Saturday, March 23rd, see the Preds take on the Detroit Red Wings at 4 p.m. at Bridgestone Arena. Plus, you can join the Preds for Ford Military Week, honoring active and retired military heroes. So get your tickets at the game, for the game, at NashvillePredators.com/tickets. But you can also never miss any games when you secure season tickets, which just went on sale for the 24 and 25 season. I'm telling y'all, get them. This year, the Preds will be giving you a jersey with your tickets, plus a ton of other great benefits that you'll hear on this station and see inside the arena. Okay, so lock in those tickets at NashvillePredators.com/season tickets.
What's going on? 801. Good morning, all you legal tamperers. I'm Robert Walsh from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Day one of legal tampering in the books. The Titans made 4 moves, 2 offensive, 2 defensive. We'll start on the offensive side with Tony Pollard, former Dallas running back, signing a 3-year, $24 million deal. Then to the offensive line, Lloyd Cushenberry, former Denver Broncos center, signing a 4-year, $50 million deal that set records for centers, including signing bonus, full guarantee, and first-year cash. To the defensive side, in the secondary, former Bengal Chidobe Awuzie, cornerback, signing a 3-year, $36 million deal with 23 guaranteed, and former first-round pick and former Charger Kenneth Murray, a linebacker, signing a 2-year deal, $15.5 million, worth up to $18 million. And some deals that happened overnight. Former Jags cornerback was released last week. Darius Williams headed back to the Rams, the team he won a Super Bowl with, on a 3-year deal. Sam Darnold to the Vikings on a 1-year, $10 million deal. And the news that broke this morning, former Green Bay running back Aaron Jones staying in the division, heading to the Minnesota Vikings on a 1-year, $7 million deal. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast into hour number 3 on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. I'm Will Bowling. Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, sun's coming out.
Yeah, it is. It's nice outside. So I'll take the extended sunlight. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Call it a beautiful day, like Glorilla would say. You know, Cuban on Cuban. She's beautiful. Like somebody, yeah. I have to get Brent Hubbs to tell you who she is.
Maybe we should play more Memphis music, considering Memphis's own Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
Is now reportedly a Tennessee Titan.
Mm-hmm.
By the way,
901 Shelby Drive. Look alive, ladies and gentlemen.
if we get him on the show, will you be showing your disdain for Memphis?
Probably not, no.
Okay.
I would say, yeah.
It's more
I think I know. I think you should.
I would certainly ask the question, though, do you hate, did you grow up disliking Nashville?
Oh, I would. Yeah, that's a great question.
How much do you buy into the city versus city rivalry?
Yeah.
It's all fun. It's all good things. I don't hate the people. You know, I just think the city is not as good as this one. I prefer this one.
And it's a mutual hate.
Yeah, it's mutual hate.
It's so mutual.
And when the Titans played there for half of a... No, I'm serious. When the Titans played there for that first season as the Tennessee Oilers, yet Nashville was given the National Football League franchise and Memphis was not. There are a lot of people in that city who have not forgiven the city of Nashville for that. I don't know. I don't hate the people. It's just, you know, I like a little bit of rivalry in sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
City rivalry is a real thing.
I will say, shout out to my chapter brother, Paul Young, who's now the mayor. They're changing a lot in Memphis, and he's spearheading that thing, man. But trying to get it under control and grow. That's one thing. Again, we speak about that. If Tony Pollard comes on with us, Buck, Blaine, and Mickey, or 3HL, if that question is asked. So I think it's a super unique one that he has to live here now.
I bet he's excited, though, to be back in the state.
I'm a West Tennessee kid myself, but I prefer to live in Nashville until they get it together.
I mean, Tennessee's better than Texas. So, I mean, there's that argument that's already done.
At least it's not that. At least it's not that, man. But yeah, at least he go from state free, no state income to no state income.
This is a better addition out of Memphis than Who Run It was for that brief time. I'd rather have a player from Memphis than Who Run It, which was I think we could say a failed experiment, to say the least.
The group that performed that song
was
originally though is legendary.
Yeah.
3 6
It's a Tennessee thing. They're
it's a Tennessee thing. Yeah. I wonder who came up with that. Never mind. I don't want to know who came up with that.
That's in the past now, right? Hopefully.
Yeah, that's in the past.
Maybe.
Todd of the F&M Bank chat says, Middle Tennessee hates West Tennessee. West Tennessee hates Middle Tennessee. East Tennessee hates them both? No, that is not true. East Tennessee does not hate Middle Tennessee.
You know what I do hear from East Tennessee
confirm that is not the case.
Is get your high school football programs together because East Tennessee runs the gambit on state championships.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Come on.
I don't know if that's factually correct the past 2 years, but it is. I mean, West Tennessee's sending like 2 teams to state out of the.
Yeah.
Let me count the classifications. Out of the 18 that go to state championship football games.
Yeah.
Memphis is very well represented in basketball, not as well represented in football.
By the way, my high school, Ripley High School, made it to state, so I'm going to see if I have time to go see them this week.
I'll be doing the games.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be doing all 4 of them.
Ripley High Tigers, man.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might get some insight for you for my sideline stuff
I got
there.
nothing.
Dang.
I got nothing. All right, I'm trying to get a 20-year.
Trying to do my investigative reporting here.
Man, I'm trying to get a 20-year class reunion together. I got nothing, Kayla. I'm going to be real with you, man.
Well,
615-737-1045 is our number. What surprised you guys the most in free agency yesterday?
I think the most obvious one of them, Kurt, I think, somewhat surprising watching that domino fall. But I think the bigger surprise to me was possibly the guards' pay. About time.
Oh.
We've arrived, okay? I'm glad y'all start to see there are some monsters up the middle of the defenses, and you got to protect the middle of your offense. I was glad to see that. And also the run of running backs on that first day. For a group that is somewhat devalued at a high rate, the running backs went quick, and the interior offensive line, big time.
Yeah, speaking of the running backs, I think a big surprise to me, okay, you've got Saquon that goes from the Giants over to the Philadelphia Eagles, staying in the NFC East. And then the big surprise to me, again, and we touched on this a little bit with Aaron Jones, but Aaron Jones being cut by the Green Bay Packers, he's really been good there for the most part. I know that, last year didn't have a ton of carries in terms of his production, 656 yards rushing, 2 TDs in 11 games in 2023. And then Josh Jacobs added right away. And I like Josh Jacobs, don't get me wrong. But if you already got a guy there that's done good work for you, who is familiar with the team, with the head coach, it's almost like he hit a certain age, Aaron Jones did, and they were like, yep, time to trade out for the younger back, and we're just going to do some dirty business right here. And that's what they did.
It is. It happens. I mean, that's the game.
Mm-hmm.
He had his aha pro moment right there. It was like, oh, y'all really do just move him in and move him out.
Yep, because Jones is 29, I believe.
Yeah,
so
like that.
Getting up there.
We would normally visit with Austin Price coming up in 10 minutes. He tells me this morning that he is on spring break out west and his entire family is asleep. So we're going to catch back up with Austin next week.
There you go.
I can see that being the case. He is a big-time Disney guy. So
Is he at Disney? No, wait, he's not at Disney, though. He's in Arizona?
I'm not even sure at this
Oh,
moment.
he's just on the West Coast. Okay.
Yeah, on the West Coast.
Out west.
I just assumed because you were in Arizona a few weeks ago that was the spot.
It might be.
It might be.
That's where the hottest people is going right now. Nah, I kid.
The big spenders.
That's why I've never been.
Really?
No, I've never been to Arizona.
Oh, maybe for the Final Four?
Potentially.
Hey,
Possibly.
I love Arizona. I'm going to be real. Somebody followed me from like North Arizona Realty. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Absolutely not.
I think Mina Kimes had an interesting take yesterday on Twitter about my biggest surprise in free agency. She said, seems like the league is sending a message about the running back class in this year's draft. I was shocked that running backs went as quickly as they did. I'm glad the Titans could set the market in that respect. 3 years, $24 million reported number for Tony Pollard. Again, we will see what the actual details are of that, because we don't know cap hit, we don't know signing bonus, we don't know the way that is structured, and if and when the Titans have an out after 1 year, after 2 years. So I want to hold off on doing too much of a deep dive into the numbers because we don't have official numbers until these moves can be made official. But the one thing that I was annoyed of yesterday are the people saying, well, why did they address running back first? They've got bigger needs than running back. Why are you going to get a second running back before you get... Just because the first deal is made does not mean that's the first deal they wanted to make. It means that was the easiest one to get done for whatever reason. This idea that you sign the first player that's the most important player you're going to sign in all of free agency, collectively made me dumber on social media yesterday. That is not how any of this works.
Yeah, these deals are like the Lord of the Rings movie. They're all getting filmed at the same time. Like, all these deals are getting negotiated by the front offices at the exact same time. It's not like, well, this is done. Let me pivot to the good old Cushionberry. Like, they're talking to, he's talking to all these agents. I'm sure guys are sitting on hold in Rand Carthon's phone right now as we speak.
100%. It's such a fast-moving thing, too. Like, again, tampering opened yesterday. Deals were announced at the opening of tampering, too. I'll let you know these deals have been discussed. As I told you guys before, the startup of these talks happen at the combine. They do. That's when they can get one-on-one with the GMs and agents and stuff like that without having to make phone calls, without having to show a trace of records that, hey, we've contacted each other. This stuff happens back then. These deals are discussed over that time, and most of these deals are done before the weekend. Anytime I ended up doing a deal, I did it probably 48 hours before it was done. So that's the gist of how this works. And as far as Mina Kime goes too, Will, with her assessment of they don't think highly of this running back crew coming out of the draft, I think it's a little bit different to me.
Okay.
As far as saying this isn't a good class. I think the fact that I think there's quality guys in this running back group coming out. With that being said, I think most teams will look to do exactly as we're seeing done here. Get you two of these guys. Get your young, cheap guy with a whole lot of tread left on his tires at a lower value. I think it pushes him down. Second, third round now might end up being more third-round running backs drafted as opposed to just simply taking the best one in round 2.
And this was too good of a group to pass up on a lot of these guys who are still in their mid-20s.
Yeah.
You got to think about that, too. It's just too hard to pass up on.
Yesterday, I was having a drink when Lloyd Cushenberry was signed. So I had that good Cushenberry and alcohol.
I was going to do something like that.
I love that one. I'm going to be real.
615
Get your teas out before I throw the break.
Hey, 1045. Have that good Cushenberry and alcohol. And some bad Titans you can call.
The Cush Push.
When we come back, what is the name still out there in the free agent market that you are eyeing today for the Titans? There's one position of need they have not yet addressed at all. Let's talk some wide receivers next.
It's Ramon Foster for Artisan Custom Closet. Here to tell you it's about to get warm outside and it's spring cleaning and everything is about to hit you and the wife's about to say, hey, we need to clean up around this piece. We need to get this organized. The best company to do that is Artisan Custom Closet, where you don't just clean out messy areas of your home. You get them organized with custom storage solutions available at Artisan Custom Closet. Artisan has options for every budget and point of interest in your house, from garages to mudrooms to pantries, home offices, closets, and laundry rooms. Artisan can do it all. Let the local team at Artisan help you rid yourself of the clutter, maximize your space, and just make your day-to-day easier, okay? Meet with a certified senior design consultant to fully customize a solution that fits your space needs. From a free consultation at your home to the custom 3D plans that lay out your options and cost and installation process that take less than a day. Artisan can make it easy to create the calm. Simply reach out to them at 615-800-2199 or visit them at artisancustomclosets.com.
RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will is brewed by 8th and Roast on 104.5 The Zone, 615-737-1045. How you jump in? Who's the one guy out there on the free agent market that is your top pick at this point that needs to be a Tennessee Titan? 615-737-1045 on Twitter at Ramon, Kayla, Will. Let's go to the phones where Dustin is in Laverne first up. What's up, Dustin?
Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning.
Morning.
I was just going to quickly touch base on how I feel about the free agents and then make a comment for y'all to answer a question on real quick.
Okay.
But I love the center and I love the cornerback. I don't really know much about the linebacker, but with Pollard, he's not like a bad running back, but you know, like when you've seen those shows when there's like an animal and a fly like lands on their eye and they don't move or respond or do anything, that's like how I felt when – I heard we signed Pollard. Hopefully he'll be good. But anyways, with the wide receivers, though, I think with us having as much money as we have left, and I'd be interested to know the number now that we've signed these people if y'all dig into that. But I think that if we don't sign – I think we need to get Higgins, but if we don't sign at least Calvin Ridley, I think we're going to be feeling like it's a bust at this point because we have so much money and we need to be doing something with it. So – hopefully they'll have a couple splashes today that really stir the pot and get everybody even more excited than we are. So thank y'all and have a good day.
Thanks, Dustin.
Too.
Appreciate the call.
Can I go off of that once you're done here? Because
no, go for
mine
it.
kind of trails from the wide receiver thing. And I thought it was interesting because we saw the running backs go yesterday. We did not really see wide receivers go. And that probably will happen today. But I think it's interesting to monitor what the Titans do. Because if they do not take a wide receiver today, or maybe you get one, it's not exactly who you're thinking. Maybe they re-sign Nick Westbrook-Akine. That makes me think even more, guys, that in that first round, they could very well go and get a Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors. I really now am starting to think whatever they do today, I'm going to start a little bit of what happens to base on what they'll do in the draft. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Just saying, keep your eyes out for that. With that being said, guys, and I get the Calvin Ridley stuff. I absolutely get it. And I don't think he would be a bad piece here by any means. I still will say I wouldn't be mad at a Marquise Brown. And I know that some people don't like the production specifically last year by him. Keep this in mind, too. He had a quarterback that wasn't Kyler Murray throwing to him. I think that is part of what goes into having a wide receiver with that quarterback that he's built some chemistry with. Did not have that at Arizona last year. Not a great year offensively for Arizona altogether. But I think this is a guy who would add speed. I think it's a guy with DeAndre Hopkins, who he did play a season with in Arizona, would be a good guy to have with him and kind of get him back on track. Because we see what he can do. I mean, was it a 2019 pick? He was a first rounder.
On who?
2019. Marquise
Hollywood Brown.
I believe that's right.
Yeah, 2019. So I feel like he hasn't been living up to his potential per se. I think that with a new offense, you want to go fast. You want to be unpredictable. I think he would actually be a good ad. Now, whether or not that will pan out, I don't know. But sometimes you got to take the risk.
Mm-hmm. So he was 2019.
2019. Okay.
And for Hollywood Brown, I think for him and Calvin Ridley both, the same issue is the drops.
Yeah.
And it's the same problem for both of them. And I mean, Calvin Ridley specifically had 8 drops. That was in the top 10 in the league last year. And Hollywood Brown, a guy that I think that's the issue with him as well, if I'm not mistaken. In terms of the kind of wide receiver they need, though, we've gone back and forth on this of do they need an outside guy or do they have to get a slot guy? Yeah. Because Tyler Boyd is still sitting right there as well, a guy with familiarity with Brian Callahan's offense.
Yeah, that's going to be the more fascinating part is how they put this puzzle piece together, right? Inside or out. I'm looking for a playmaker, period. I think if you go get Hollywood Brown, you have him to be able to put in the slot. You also get somebody that can take the top of this defense. Right now, currently, who's a wide receiver that you trust with speed for this team? Traylon, but Traylon's a bigger wide receiver unless he shreds more. Now, again, my view on him is a little skewed because of last year, because of the injury. He came in great shape, then he got out of shape because he got hurt. I don't want to say he was out of shape. He just didn't look the same after the injury as he did before. Does he have capabilities of getting downfield? Yes, he can. But it also has come in an offense that is predicated on it being play action, holding the ball, max protection type of situations. Him just completely beating somebody at the line of scrimmage, I don't necessarily think that's his game. I think he's a possession wide receiver, work the sidelines, get down, maybe move the chains. That speed guy is still there. Having the ability to get somebody that can be a weapon for themselves and for their teammates. That's the guy I'm looking for. So if it's a slot guy, if it's an outside guy, give me both, okay? D-Hop played in the slot some this year. Traylon has shown that he can play in the slot, but he's mostly an outside dude. When it comes down to some people are going to mention Kyle Phillips and those types of guys, I get it. But we've seen nothing in 2 years as it pertains to his career. And he had a game, I think, in Pittsburgh. He had like 5 receptions or something like that. He's had moments. But to have an absolute playmaker, I don't know as far as the young guys that you have it. D-Hop's in a world of his own.
Yeah.
He's proven that he can still be that commodity. Me simply putting it may be the easiest answer to get, I just want a playmaker here. Whether that's a slot down the middle of the defense type of guy, that's an outside, take the top off and open up the middle for your offense type of dude. I'll take either at this point. I don't care if it's Hollywood. I don't care if it's Tyler Boyd. I don't care whoever it is when it comes down to what you're capable of doing for this team. Calvin Ridley would be an awesome get, but I don't think he's a take the top off the defense type of dude. He's a playmaker. That's the way I view a guy like him, man. And there's still some guys out there that you feel confident in when it comes to these signings that could come today. Like you said, Kayla, a second ago, this is the second wave of the first wave. And wide receivers will, I think, be hot today. No real guys have really gone. Duvernay, Gabriel Davis is the highest paid free agent wide receiver right now. And his is 3 for 39. So that's a secondary deal. $13 million a year for a 2/3 type of guy, possession type of playmaker for Jacksonville.
Between wide receiver and the other options out there, is that the most important next priority right now for the Titans? Of all the positions they have still yet to fill.
You were still talking about linebacker, right?
Yep.
That's
linebacker's more important.
It's still glaring to me.
I think there are more options at wide receiver in the draft and still in free agency than what has already gone at linebacker. Paul Kaharski reported yesterday on Twitter that he does not believe the Titans are in on Patrick Queen, who from Pro Football Focus is projected to get $4 million and 18 average a year with essentially 4 years, $72.5 million. He thinks. I'm looking at Jerome Baker and Josie Jewell as the two guys. I'm going to put 1A and 1B on the list. I saw Mike Herndon, who writes for Paul's website as well, does a great job covering the Titans. He believes on Twitter just a few minutes ago that Jerome Baker is the best fit next to Kenneth Murray at this point of the process. Said that, he believes with the coverage ability that Baker specifically has, he is one of the stronger linebackers in coverage, according to PFF, who is available. He was the green dot at times in Miami. Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee in Miami. I think Josie Jewell, though, is less of a risk and a cheaper overall option. PFF projects that Josie Jewell would get 2 years, $12.5 million. And he is a green dot. And the way that Pro Football Focus describes him and their top 100 free agents, they have him number 79. Josie Jewell from the Denver Broncos says he may not be great in one facet of linebacker play, but he's good in all of them. And if you're going to take the athletic upside of a Kenneth Murray, who is an athletic freak that has had trouble knowing where to be in the defense, has been indecisive at times at the linebacker position, is not highly graded in terms of the analytics and what the stats say about him, starting 53 games in 4 seasons for the Chargers, I do think that having someone who's more of a safety blanket and less of a risk, who can call the defense as the green dot and has experience doing that, would be an asset. So for me, 29-year-old Josie Jewell is the one that I want at inside linebacker.
I can see that. It definitely needs, I think, be addressed through the free agency period, too, because getting a young a young, fresh out of college linebacker, one, that means you might have to spend a second-round pick on a dude like that, considering you don't pick one in the first this year, too high at 7 for me. I like that, Will, as far as saying, look, this is a guy that's been in this position before. Again, commanding his defense. Azeez is gone. That was your green dot from last year, right? Gibby is around, but how do you feel about Gibby athletically and his overall play? He gets the job done.
It doesn't fit this team, what they think is.
Exactly. So you're looking for speed. You're looking for exactness. Go ahead.
And the quick clarification on Gibbons is he is an exclusive rights free agent for the Titans this offseason.
And what that means is he belongs to the Titans. He can't negotiate with anybody else when it comes down to it. He either sign that deal or he get no deal. I think is the way it breaks down on the exclusive free agency tender. But Will, I'll ride with you on that one. But it's fascinating, though, as far as spot track go, they have Jerome Baker as an outside linebacker. He's just a floater, I'm guessing, as far as his play skill.
4-3, 3-4 guy
4-3,
that can, I think,
3-4
play in multiple kinds of schemes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll take that. His agent is Drew Rosenhaus of the Rosenhaus Sports, too. It will be fascinating to see how they do business with them, considering he was Tierra's guy. And I don't think one case is the other. Drew just does business the way he does business. So,
can I throw an offensive lineman out at you guys?
You may.
Yeah.
I would like to throw out a Yosh Nyman, who started, which sounds like a game me and Will play where you switch someone's name around with the first letters. But Yosh Nyman played for the Green Bay Packers the last 4 years. He started just over 22 games for them, played left and right tackle, and did so efficiently. He was pretty average. I think PFF has him in the average category, but I think a guy like that, even though he's a tackle on the open market, could probably still be had for a nominal fee. Bring him in, give you some sizable depth at tackle. You don't have to worry about bringing a Chris Hubbard back who got hurt after 9 games. You have a little bit of depth. And that way, if the board in the draft doesn't necessarily fall the exact way you want to, you don't have to start Andre Dillard if you don't want to. You don't have to let that man hurt you anymore.
I think people are worried about that too. Like, what is he still here? Yeah, he is still here.
He's under contract. Year starts on Wednesday.
Kaplan said in his article that he believes that he would be on the team for the next year. If they don't have to cut him and you can have depth, hopefully. I also think a lot of people are equating Bill Callahan to like this magnet. He's like, oh, he's just going to suck in all the bad offensive linemen and make them good again. Like, I don't know if it's that easy.
No, it's not.
Dillard was on a team with one of the best other offensive line coaches, too, in the league. So, and that didn't work. Yeah. So, unless, and Bill might be a miracle worker, absolutely. But at this point, I just don't know. I feel like we got to throw in the towel on this one.
More than anything, you need depth.
Yes.
Dillard's still at a value,
right?
Unless you got a trade partner out there somehow. I shouldn't laugh at that. Unless you have a trade partner out there that believes in the guy or something like that, he's a body.
He's getting chances.
He can be taught.
At this point, I would trade a pick to not have the option of trading for Andre Dillard.
Someone please take this off my hands.
The Houston Texans have received a 6th-round pick.
Right.
For letting Andre Dillard stay a Tennessee Titan.
That's a Trojan horse if I've ever seen one. Here, Texans, take his tackle from us, please.
Isn't George Fant, speaking of the Texans, is George Fant's out there too?
Yeah, he is. George is available also in the city or Bowling Green or somewhere around the middle Tennessee area. He's available also.
Nice.
Yeah.
Played in 16 games for the Texans, started 13 last year.
He did. Got a lot of value out of him, man. George Fant is definitely available in here.
Couple of poll questions at Ramon Kayla Will you can vote on this morning. We tweeted it out yesterday as soon as the Tony Pollard news came out. Like it, love it, or not a fan of the Tony Pollard pickup. 29% of you love it. 51% of you like it. And 20% of you are not a fan. We then asked, which one would be worse? Derrick Henry going to Houston or Derrick Henry going to Baltimore? I think it's got to be Houston, right? Got to be.
Yeah.
Boy, they can't be that bad.
There's still Titans fans that are not Ravens people, though.
We are still, but that being the case, though, we still had to watch Steve and D. Mace.
Right.
And Derek Mason go be Ravens. Like, at least there's precedent for that. You don't have to see them twice.
Truth.
In that uniform, Houston would 100% be worse.
It would be worse.
Plus, you got your other guys down there now. You got Danico down there. He's now only not been on the Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC South. Maybe that will be his next landing spot.
Wow. Worst for me, I still say Baltimore. Because Baltimore is, I think, more set to become a Super Bowl contender, and seeing Derek ride that wave, depending on what the Titans do during the season, and Derek could be late into the playoffs, and you see him making play after play and first down after first down late in the season when it gets cold. I think that'd be hard to stomach.
At the trade deadline, all I heard was anybody but Baltimore. Don't trade Derek to Baltimore. That would be the worst. Oh, how the turntables have turned.
Yep.
Now the shiniest turd is the best option to make sure that he doesn't go to Jerry Jones or go to a division rival.
I'm always curious. No, I mean,
Go ahead.
I'm curious with fans that have players like a Derrick Henry that you want to go. Do you want to see him win a Super Bowl just because?
That's the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Would you want to see Derek win a Super Bowl as a Raven?
Yeah, I would.
Cheyenne would.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's a ring on her finger, baby. All because of Derrick Henry.
It could be Herrick Denry for all she cares. She just wants him to
Henry. I think it eases over a little bit better if it's in Baltimore than it is in Houston. Like, I don't think it will bother you as much because it's not your direct division opponent. It's somebody that you hate, but you also got to understand this business. Like, the Titans have an opportunity to sign Derek right now. It's not like they can't. They're choosing not to. So you can't be mad at Derek for making a business decision to go to a contender, somebody he deems a contender, or at this point, the highest check. I have absolutely no problem with that. I used to be emotional about this stuff, and somewhat still am. But Derek deserves what he gets.
There's nothing in the world that could make me cheer for the Baltimore Ravens to win a Super Bowl.
I ain't say cheerful.
Just
Nothing.
Derek.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of people saying this guy deserves to go chase a ring. Don't backpedal now when it comes down to you know what happened? Houston got good.
Real quick.
Houston got good, and I fully understand that. Houston got good really quick, and now here we are discussing. But hey, the Titans signed Andre Johnson.
Yeah, they did.
Hey,
Way later in his career.
How late is it for Derek?
Later.
Still in his 20s right now. He wasn't almost 40.
Running back years.
Andre Johnson was done. Like, done. When he was a Colt and a Titan.
Okay. I'm just saying. And
I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying I'm not going to root for him to win a Super Bowl if he does.
it's just me being petty.
He can do whatever he wants.
And right now, this team number one wide receiver is DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Okay. All is fair. In
I
free
mean,
agency.
you can do whatever you want. But that doesn't mean Texans fans should cheer for DeAndre Hopkins to win a Super Bowl
no,
for the
they-
Titans.
they hate the Titans.
They're not doing that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only point I'm making is that you should never cheer for a rival to win a title.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I cheer for the team. 615-737-1045. There is a position that got a lot more valuable yesterday, and you're about to hear Ramon Foster get really happy next.
It's Ramon Foster, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. The month of March, y'all, is Happy Golden Ticket Sweepstakes at Hiller, where you can enter to win at HillerGoldenTicket.com. And here's what you got to do. All you got to do is enter your email, and you're automatically entered to win. Yes, that's simple. The prizes include a $5,000 Hiller gift card. There's also a $1,000 Hiller gift card or one of 10 Happy Hiller Club memberships. And you know what that entails: services, checkups on all the vital appliances and just units around your house. Or you can also take advantage of the 0-interest financing for 48 months on a select new HVAC system or 36 months on a tankless water heaters or whole home generators, which are clutch. Y'all know how it is in springtime. Storms, lights pop out, all those types of things. Don't miss out, though. You must enter to win now at HillerGoldenTicket.com.
RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will is brewed by 8th and Roast on 104.5 The Zone. There was a big domino that fell in the league yesterday. In 15 minutes, we'll talk about how it affected the Titans' plans to potentially trade out of the number 7 overall pick. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling with you. I want to congratulate you, Ramon, or maybe give you my condolences. Either way.
Yeah.
The guard position got a whole lot more valuable yesterday.
We knew it.
Robert Hunt got $100 million. Lloyd Cushenberry, a center, not a guard, but still interior offensive lineman, set some records on his reported deal with the Titans. 4 years, $50 million, setting records including signing bonus at $18 million, full guarantee at $26 million, and first-year cash at $20 million. How do you feel about your big guys getting more love?
Love it.
And specifically interior big guys.
We've been saying it for the longest. It's the same thing I've been talking about for the right tackle position. It's not just the quarterback's blind side no more. The athlete on the defensive side of the ball has changed. And it's changed even so much so up the interior of the offense. Like, D tackles are just as much game wreckers as defensive ends are, or linebackers, or blitz and safeties. Like, they get the job done. It's the closest spot to the quarterback to have a big athlete do work. And for the longest, people just thought, well, just put another one in there. Just put another one in there. Let's put another one there. Oh, you don't need Peter Skoronski at left guard. Put him at tackle. Yeah, I said that again. I did that. I just did that to tease people with about the Peter Skoronski.
No, he's not going to tackle.
He's not going to tackle.
The cap isn't real. You can just go whoever you want at left tackle,
No,
right?
you can't. No, but no, I'm kidding. But what I'm saying is this: it's about time that stuff going. Robert Hunt getting $100 million, okay, 20 average is big time. But it also shows again, this league plays catch up, or it's copycat when it comes down to it, right? When you realize the Aaron Donalds and Big Jeffrey Simmons, Fletcher Cox just retired, or you get these other dudes around the league that play on the interior, you got to start protecting the quarterback more, especially if you want them to sit in the pocket and deliver.
Yeah.
So I'm ecstatic for this group of guards and centers that are coming out there getting these big paydays. Big time. About time.
And the next thing we need, I'm gonna put this on you right now because you've been hollering for it, is now we need to get them in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. These interior alignment, baby.
Yes, and maybe this leads to that because you'll probably have some older guy come out and say, man, what is going on with this? And it sparks the conversation about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Nobody knows how to judge interior guys. You look at the tackle and say, oh, he's an athlete. You look at the tackle and say, oh, he's long armed. He's got long legs. He's got a lot of range. Nobody knows how to judge these dudes, but I'm glad to see that the scouting departments are figuring out what it takes to actually be a good offensive line. And I honestly think, and this is selfish of me, but it starts from the inside out. It starts with your center, which is why, of course, the Lloyd Cushenberry signing, I think, is so high because he can do so much with what he's capable of with holding the ball every play. And from there, you can't have weak links as far as your right and left guard goes. I actually think it's easier to hide a bad I was going to say it's easier to hide a bad tackle, and I forgot who I covered last year. Never mind. I'm going to stop right there. Shout out to the guards and centers.
I will say, though, on that note you made, especially last year, I don't know, it was so glaring to me bringing this point up again, the amount of backups that played because of injuries to those starters. I mean, it happened at the start of the season. And so you're right. You have to not only address the edges in terms of the tackle position, you have to go from the inside out. I think it's so important. And last year it showed more than anything.
I mean, seriously, think about what the pressure that Levis and Tannehill took. I think most of his injuries may have been from D tackles. I mean, think about Vita Vea and how he was a train wreck last year. I mean, the guys that you got to see, Grover Stewart's back. I mean, there's no telling what a guy like Aaron Arceg's going to go. Imagine if they pick up another guy as far as Houston goes or as far as Jacksonville goes. You're in trouble when you try to develop a franchise quarterback if he ain't got time. So kudos to those dudes, man. Very, very much looking forward to having a conversation or running into Lord Cushenberry here. Dude seems to be a stud.
Yeah.
He does.
Well, last year, Robert Hunt did have more touchdown catches than Traylon Burks.
Oh, my goodness.
Even though it was called back because of a penalty. But
he's only got one in his career, Traylon does. Yikes.
Robert Hunt, and if he wasn't illegally on the line downfield against the Ravens this year, would have as many touchdown catches.
We
at the
got to get
guard
the
position.
man going. Hey, Slaylin Burks will be in here in a second.
That's true.
Yeah, Slaylin Burks will be in
yeah?
here. Yeah, he'll be
Slay's
in here in a
guy?
second.
We have a Derrick Henry update from Aaron Wilson covering the NFL and Texans for KPRC2, formerly of the Houston Chronicle, says Derrick Henry on the Texans' radar as well as Ravens and other NFL teams as the running back market continues to develop, per league sources. He does add nothing imminent for Henry at this time.
Damn, King.
No surprises.
Man.
We thought Texans, Cowboys, and Ravens, and that's what we're getting.
Nothing imminent. though.
Boy, if that happens.
615-737-1045 is our number. Let's get into that when we come back. How will Derrick Henry be viewed if he stays in the division? Will you go Tiki Barber on Derrick Henry if he stays in the division the way Saquon Barkley did in the NFC East yesterday? Next.
All right, we have reached March, and that's good news for many of us because, yeah, it's staying lighter as we get later in the day, and that means more time for you to maybe get out there, take a walk, and feel better about yourself because that January and February, the months, they're tough, and maybe you're feeling a little under the weather the past couple of months. Maybe you don't have a lot of energy. Most of the time, that's because toxins are building up in our body. It's suppressing your immunity and ability to absorb nutrients and then, fight illnesses. The excess weight can also prematurely age you and carry some of that excess weight as well. So that is why you need to change your body's oil once in a while. And why not do it by changing up the way that you're doing your diet. And this is the Youthful Cleanse by Daily Defense. It's not a diet, actually, and it doesn't require you to do any of that juicing stuff, any of that. It is something that you can do for the weekend. It's something you could do for up to 2 weeks if you'd like. Get yours today at membersnutrition.com. Make sure to take control of your health, take control of your life, and go ahead and try the Youthful Cleanse today at membernutrition.com.
What's going on? Good morning. Just about 9 o'clock from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Day 2 of legal tampering underway, but we'll look back at the Titans' moves from day 1, 2 on offense, 2 on defense. We'll start with Tony Pollard, Dallas running back, signing a 3-year, $24 million deal. To the offensive line with Lloyd Cushenberry signing a 4-year, $50 million deal. Set several records for center, including signing bonus, full guarantee, and first-year cash. To the defensive side, Chidobe Awuzie from the Bengals, cornerback, signing a 3-year, $36 million deal with 23 guaranteed. And the deal that came in late last night, former first-round pick Kenneth Murray, a linebacker, signing a 2-year deal, $15.5 million. Some deals that happened overnight. Former Jags cornerback Darius Williams going back to the Rams, the team he won a Super Bowl with, on a 3-year deal. Sam Darnold signing a 1-year deal with the Vikings for $10 million. And the news that broke earlier this morning, Aaron Jones staying in the NFC North, going to the Vikings on a 1-year, $7 million deal. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour of the show on a Tuesday morning edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. RKW is brewed by 8th and Rose. 615-737-1045. How you jump in. TV's own Ron Slay joins us in 20 minutes. We'll get his thoughts on a little bit of Titans discussion, some Vols hoops, some SEC tournament, and everything in between with the hardest working man in showbiz, Ron Slay. We've got Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh making the show happen. I'm Will Bowling. 615-737-1045. This from Josina Anderson a few minutes ago. I'm told the Browns, Giants, and Titans are among new teams that she has heard have shown preliminary interest in quarterback Jameis Winston. Please, for the love of God, Ran, if you're listening, just for the name of content, just so we can do the Jameis Winston show on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, I will pay out of my own pocket to have Jameis Winston on this show weekly. I'll buy him his coffee every morning when he gets here.
Will is trying to sell it.
Look at him go.
I want Jameis.
We will furnish the crab legs.
I need Jameis. Public seafood departments around Nashville needs Jameis.
So what you saying is you and Bert got a $500 stipend to put in on his contract?
I thought you were footing that.
I said $5 a week for a cup of 8th and Roast coffee. Jameis will love the Sunflower Express coffee blend we have courtesy of 8th and Roast.
It could be sponsored by Publix. Perfect.
We can figure, or 8th and Roast, whoever we need to.
Do a duality,
Yeah.
Both of them,
And
right?
you can find your favorite bag of 8th and Roast coffee grounds at your
There we go.
favorite local Kroger, Whole Foods, Publix, wherever you get.
No need to walk out without paying for it.
So crab coffee, crab and
please
coffee
pay for it.
is what we're doing now. Crab and
Ooh,
coffee.
crab and coffee. Ooh.
Sure, might be a bad mix right there, but okay, I'm here for it. I got
It
no
would be
problem.
fun. I'm not gonna lie. It would be fun to have him in that locker room. I don't even talk about the field. I'm like, it'd just be fun to have him in the locker room. But he does bring a veteran presence. We've talked about this on the show before. I think you have to have a veteran quarterback of some sort, and he is one of those names that's towards the top of the list that's left in quarterbacks that are on free agency.
I think Jameis would be a heck of a teacher.
Yeah.
I do, because he understands. He's seen the highs of the highs and lows of the lows in his career. I mean, that 30 for 30 season, say what you want to about him. He was going in on it. I mean, legitimately, he's been the franchise guy. He's been the backup. He supported guys. I think whenever he chooses to be done, because of his personality and style, Jameis is going to be one heck of a coach.
Yep.
I think so, and I don't want to let the antics get in the way of Jameis and what he does and say. He's a great soundbite guy. But I think he's a very smart individual, man. He's just pures of the pure, I think, in just his approach to life, which is why Will Lee Bolin
That's
is
his
a
guy.
huge Jameis guy.
I love
Guy.
Jameis
He's-
Winston
he
so
just-
much. He's a king.
You see him and you smile.
People who are that happy in
I-
life, you want to spend time around.
yeah.
And it's not like he's had an easy run. I think that's a big part of like just he's gone through so much in his career, being a guy that was supposed to be a starter and be the franchise dude and got knocked back, but has been a supporter like you mentioned. I think it's so big for Will to even like, hey, these are the lessons I've learned along the way too.
I've yet to hear one teammate say something bad about Jameis. They say he gonna go too far in his pregame speeches, but as far as like
He goes too far?
friend, a team,
yeah.
eating W's and just it's so good.
So before the break, we talked about Derrick Henry and the latest on his free agency. Diana Rossini of The Athletic writes on Twitter a few moments ago that Derrick Henry has had conversations with multiple teams since yesterday, including the Ravens. For now, nothing is imminent, Diana Rossini says. She adds, we wait. And Aaron Wilson put out the exact same info at the exact same time. So credit to Derrick Henry's agent texting all of the national reporters at the same time. Those are the two we hear from first. But we asked the question before the break. If Derrick Henry stays in the division and goes to be a Houston Texan, does that impact his legacy as a Titan?
It should. No. What Derek did here is cemented already. It should not impact it. I think he even when he comes here, if he signs with the Houston Texans, I think he gets a round of applause. I do. And I hope for the sake of this team, you get an opportunity to see what it looked like to go against a guy like Derek and what your team will do against him. Because Denard Wilson is a smart individual when it comes down to how he will call these defenses and just on what others have said about him and the defensive staff. I'll be real with you. I kind of want to see it.
Oh, look at Ramon stoking the fire. And it's hard because
I don't want to see it.
I'm not a Titans fan. I cover the team, so I can't speak for Titans fans on what they would think about it tarnishing his reputation. As the league as a whole, no. Like outsiders, absolutely not. It would not. But I would say there were probably some fans that if he goes to Houston and you're facing them 2 times a year, and Houston now is, showing that they are competitive and they've got a quarterback that looks to be a guy who could probably take them to the Super Bowl sooner than later. I think that there could be a situation where Titans fans are a little bit hurt or a little bit aggravated that he ends up in Houston after, last year we all see the throwbacks and everyone's thinking it's fine and dandy and this is the greatest thing ever. If he ends up there and has success and wins a Super Bowl there, I think there would be a little bit of animosity. And again, I can't speak for Titans fans, but I'm just saying there's probably some out there that would feel that way.
I'm a lifelong Titans fan. I was born when the Titans were born. It would not impact his legacy a bit for me.
Okay.
I don't blame anyone for feeling the way they feel about a player, but Derrick Henry has carried this franchise through some good years and some bad years. Some not so great, and a run to the AFC Championship. And the service he gave to this fan base and to this city and to this franchise, doing his part to make Titans football cool, which is, I think, something this city feels like it has never really had. You've never felt like you were the cool kid in the league. National people don't talk about you. That shouldn't matter, but to a lot of you it does. And I don't blame you for letting that be a part of the conversation, because as much as the NFL is discussed, you have an NFL team, yet nationally you're not going to hear anything about them adding Lloyd Cushenberry or Chidobe Awuzie on ESPN today because Saquon Barkley went from the Giants to the Eagles. So NFC East is going to rule, as it always will. But it would be weird. To me, I don't care enough about the Texans. Like, Texans fans, I think, have some vendettas against the Titans because we took their history and we took their team. I get it. I don't blame anyone in Houston for not liking this franchise, but to me, it would hurt more if he was a Colt than a Texan. Like, my dislike for the Colts and the Jags is much bigger. Like, Houston, I don't care. They're not relevant enough in my life for me to care about them. I know they're good this past year, but that takes a lot more time than just one good season for me to care about them. The Houston Texans, to me, are probably the third of the three rivals that you have within the division.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I'm with you on that one. I got no problem with Derek going to Houston. I feel the exact same way. Like I said, I somewhat want to see it. Just to understand what type of player Derek is on the other side. Like Will said a second ago, he gave this franchise, as of late, a big-time identity. But when it comes down to you defending that dude or being on top of the way he's perceived outside of Nashville, I think it's okay to have that. What kind of team they have. Again, my thing is I think it will end up being running back by committee wherever he goes, just because of the age, just because of the Jones fracture and stuff like that too. It's a matter of preserving him for late in the playoff run.
It's also like the Titans also didn't want him back. So you can't tarnish his legacy and get mad at him for not coming back when the Titans never reportedly made an offer. Everything we learned yesterday is that the Titans wanted Tony Pollard. They wanted a running back in the mold of Tajay Spears. They wanted a second option to Tajay. Why would you get mad at him and tarnish his legacy and all the memories he created within this city because your GM didn't want him back? And I don't think that's the wrong decision from Rand either. I think the Titans are right to move on. I think Derrick Henry is right to move on. It's an amicable breakup right now between Derrick Henry and the Titans, and rarely do you get that in sports. Usually one side or the other wants to hold on. There is no reason his legacy should be changed whatsoever, regardless of where he goes. He served his franchise as well as he could, and the Titans, I think, want to move on and are ready to move on just as much as he is.
I agree.
615-737-1045. Ken is in Brentwood up next on the phones. What's up, Ken?
Hey, how's it going? Love the show.
Thanks.
What's up, Swagger? What's up? What's up, Ramon?
What's happening?
I'm gonna just throw this out there, man. I'm a January 5th, 1911 man myself. But
Hey.
But so with Derrick Henry, I will say this: I think if he signs in Houston, that it tarnishes his legacy just a little here. Nothing major, but just a little from the standpoint of it's a rivalry. I mean, it's hatred there. For me, it's almost like imagining Ramon hopping out there and playing guard for the Ravens or the Bengals. Exactly. So that's just my thoughts on it. I don't think it hurts him majorly, but I definitely think it'll sting some fans, and they're like,
What if you beat Houston in that matchup? Does it make it easier then?
I think it makes it a little easier, but I mean, Derrick has to run for like 40 yards on 22 carries. You know, it has to be like annihilate, completely stop Derrick, and it's a pitiful performance for him.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Thank you, Ken.
That's what's so weird about sports, though, because a lot of these players don't stay in the same spot. And for me, I have a different opinion on things than other fans do. All fans are so different in their own right with that, because he was just saying, like, I wouldn't think it'd tarnish it that much, but I'd have a little thing in the back of my head if it was specifically the Houston Texans, because it is more of a rival. And I've been the same way with, I think, teams that I've seen my guys go to that have played for teams, that aren't my team. I'm always going to root for them, but it makes it a little more difficult too.
I feel that.
I just don't think Titans fans really care about the Texans. I really don't. I don't know anyone who has like a strong opinion on Houston. Honestly, until I think people don't like J.J. Watt, but I think a lot of us would have not liked J.J. Watt because we feel like he's fake and a poser in the media, not because he plays for Houston.
You know where I think the hate will come more is if they do turn it over quicker than you.
Because they hadn't been as successful as the Indianapolis Colts in the past years.
That's the envy I think you could have. Again, I'm with you. I don't think there's much importance there other than this last year with the jerseys and stuff like that.
And you're going to have to play
and that's
twice.
Petty.
That's obviously a part of it. Like, it's not ideal.
But to me, I think this new era for the Titans, I think will be a little bit more spicy. I do. So I think that hate will rise up.
Guess what they also have now?
What?
And that you're competing with? The quarterback thing. I mean, that's a part of the AFC South now, too. You've got these quarterbacks that are the futures of their team. What quarterback now is going to be the best? That's a rivalry with me. If I'm looking at C.J. Stroud, I'm like, I want Will Levis to be better than C.J. Now, will that work out? I don't know. But
the other side of this question for me is this. When both teams were good before the Texans were trash for like 5 years in a row, I think there was probably a little bit more animosity then. I wasn't in this division. but those on the field scuffles that happen, it's got to be because there was a little bit of dislike. I don't know if that was straight personal.
Who is the number one Titans rival? Quickly.
Still Indy, I
Baltimore.
think.
No, Indy. I think you're right.
Right?
Indy. Yeah.
I think it's either Indy or Jacksonville. Honestly. I think Houston's probably fourth. Indy, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Houston. Honestly, Steelers you could put in front of Houston as well. You really could. With the hatred on that.
I've
Maybe
heard
Houston's
that.
listening right now. They're like, Will, what do you think? We're
AFC
nothing down
Central.
here?
No, I don't care about that.
FC Central, man.
615-737-1045. Ron Slay of 3HL and SEC Network joins us next.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson and Ramon Foster for Window Nation. And March is a critical time of the year to check your home's windows. And this is a perfect week to do it because the weather is actually pretty nice. So if you have a chance to kind of open those windows, see if yours are cracked, if they're leaking, won't open or stay open, now is the time to call Window Nation. You can buy 2 windows, get 2 free. Plus, this is a bonus, 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months. That's a pretty good deal.
And the best thing about Window Nation, too, that's what they do. It's just like going to a chicken spot and ordering a burger. Like, you don't do those types of things. That's why you use Window Nation for new windows on your home. They've installed over 200,000 windows just last year, with 96% are requiring no follow-up service and over 20,000 online positive reviews. This is the company you want to use when you need new windows. If you need them right now, simply call them 866-90Nation or go online to windownation.com.
Hour number 4 at RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will, brewed up by 8th and Rose, 615-737-1045. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling, and Ron Slay. With just a little bit to talk about. There's an SEC tournament in town. There is a Tennessee loss to Kentucky to break down. And there's this question we're asking about Derrick Henry's legacy with the Titans if he becomes a Houston Texan. That I would love to get Ron Slay's thoughts on as well. He is making his way into his seat.
What are you eating? That's not a voodoo donut, is it?
No, first
It is not.
Yes.
This is a hash
I'm now
brown.
craving voodoo donuts now because we had a text chain going with our boss, Paul Mason, and he said, should I get voodoo donuts or 8th and Roast? I said, damn, both, bro. And then Slay had a particular donut.
Donuts and coffee. Let's go with start today.
You gotta get right. That's all it is.
Yeah, he's getting his chew on.
Mm-hmm. You hear it's nothing but the sounds of Ron Slay and the harmony. Like 21 Savage song. Mm-hmm. That's all we doing. My dog just getting it together. Use the hand sanitizer. That's always clutch right there in these moments. Got his bottle of water together. Got his ketchup.
Yeah,
there he is.
Got to have sauce. Got to have sauce. What up, though?
What's going on, Slato?
You know what I mean? It's like coming out of the timeout. You know what I mean? How you reach back. Let me hit the water bottle one time.
Chug.
Now I'm ready to go. Got my electrolytes in me. I'm ready to go out here for the next media, all the way to the next media timeout. What's up, Will Lee?
Good morning. How are you?
What's happening, y'all?
What's
So
up, Slay?
we're talking a lot about Derrick Henry before we get to Tennessee basketball and the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that it would be harder for Titans fans to watch him as a Texan than a Raven because they'd have to watch him twice a year play against them. But I also don't think it would tarnish his legacy at all as a Titan if he stays in the division. What do you think?
No, I don't think it'll tarnish it. I do think it'll be hard, you know, every now and then. I think the most difficult part will be about him winning. I think that'll be the most difficult part. But listen, man, I just look at it from a different perspective. Being a former athlete, I think when you've given all you've got, it's easier to walk away from situations. And for fans, it's easier to let them walk away. Excuse me. That's a hash brown. But at the same time, when you watch them and it's a disgruntled player or a disgruntled franchise, and then they separate, that's more difficult because then the fans are looking at the franchise like, hey, man, what are y'all doing? Y'all should have brought him back, this, that, and the other, or tried. In this situation, man, what else you want from him? What did he not give you over his course of his entire career so far leading up to this point? What did he not give you outside of maybe pass catching out of the backfield? Other than that, man, the man was stand up. He was in the community. He gave you everything. He fought. He played through a broken foot. Mm-hmm. Like, do you know how easy it is to say I rolled my ankle, man? Listen, I got to shut it down and get ready for the next game. This man broke his foot and played the rest of the game as a decoy.
Yeah.
That's different, man. So I think, man, you tip your cap, pat him on the butt. Hey, man, good job, bro. Go get whatever's yours out there. You know what I mean? Whether it's money, whether it's championships, whether it's prolong your career, whether it's defy the odds, whatever it is. When you come back here, you got a home. We're going to cheer for you. It's easy.
That to me is, I think, the bigger question next after this signing. How long does he want to play to get them numbers up for that HOF? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go win a Super Bowl on the way to a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, does he continue to do 1 years and 1 years and 1 years after that? You know what I'm saying? That, I think, is a bigger question.
Yeah, it's one of those Adrian Peterson situations. You look at it and like, hey, man, are you doing this for the numbers? Are you doing this for the love of the game? Are you doing this to chase a championship? That's something only he'll know, you know, and he got to come to grips with because that, man, like he could walk away right now. And I still think, you know what I mean, he's knocking on the door of the HOFA. Yeah, the HO Fame.
HO
You
Fame.
know what I mean?
HO Fame.
It's HO Fame. But, like, this is where it is, man. And this is where the game has evolved to for the running back position. I think he's shown you that, man, you can be well after 30 and still have something left in the tank. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just resetting the bar. And you're going to have people come along like this every now and then, probably every decade, that can reset the bar, and you got to value it. Now, that right there is the other part. What is his value walking out of this market? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think it's coincidental that yesterday, after we see a slew of running backs go, he's the only 30-year-old that doesn't immediately get signed to a team? And I hate to look at it that way because I'm like, damn, he's been healthier than half these backs that are 26.
Yeah. Then I think you also look at it, KK, and I think even more so than that, the tiers.
Yeah.
I think he's that tier 1 running back still. But that's in our eyes. What does the market and these other franchises see him as? Is he going to be the guy that you just waiting on the playoffs, get him to the playoffs? He got 500, 600 yards walking into the playoffs, and now we're going to give him the load of the carries, you know what I'm saying? It, like, I don't think that's tier 1 value. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't. But,
it's fair.
Hey, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
I hoop.
You're
Speaking of
playing.
hoop,
You can't use that.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Wesley, speaking of hoops, you said the winner of Tennessee-Kentucky would be the first to 85, and Kentucky beat Tennessee 85-81.
Yeah.
Really wish you knew what you were talking about.
At some point, man.
How much did that game concern you, if at all, from the Tennessee perspective?
When you talk about rivalries, you want to win every single game. I just think that when
I knew he was going to put those on.
Ramon has gold Coach Prime sunglasses on now.
I was like, he's got to match his brother.
To match
I
Ramon.
got these from my partner Mark at Secure Lawn, man.
you gonna act like this morning.
I got this from my partner Mark, man. Shout out to Mark, man. Gave me these Prime sunglasses. What you
Hey,
talking
what's
about?
up wrong with
Do
you,
what you
man?
want when you pop it.
Do
Listen,
what you
man.
want with your pop. You feel what I'm saying? Well, you got on a nice track jacket this morning. You know what I'm saying? Gunners.
Come on, you Gunners.
Gunners.
This dude here, dog.
You know
You
me.
can always tell when we ain't seen each other in a while, dog, because this. Anyway, hey, man, listen.
I got a stogie for you, boy.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Hush.
I can't wait.
Turn this mic off.
No, it's
Talk about the Vols.
When you look at it,
Talk me
man,
off the ledge.
rivalry is a problem. I think this is one of the first times that I've been able to watch the Kentucky-Tennessee game, and after the game, regardless of the results, I was okay. You know, it was more basketball to be played. It's more to accomplish. This wasn't a team that rolled over and died when they could have. They could have easily got beaten by 25-30, without question.
Yeah.
With a team shooting as hot as they were, they could have said, you know what? Regular season champs, man, let's get ready for Nashville. Like, we cool, you know. But would I have liked them to win on senior day without question, get some payback? But you got to tip your cap. Just like what we're talking about with Derrick Henry. When somebody's giving it their all, you tip the cap, tap them on the butt. Hey, man, good job, man. Like, y'all were better that day. Y'all shot the ball. I don't think they played like that all year to me.
No, right.
Not on both ends. Not with Big Ugo
Defensively.
defending the basket and adjusting shots like they did, trapping Dalton Connect and staying with the trap and paying attention to the details of it, and then being able to scramble back out of it, getting Zakai in foul trouble. I thought all of this, it was the perfect storm in a sense. The emotional letdown in the sense of it being senior day, all of that, like, it was different, and they capitalized on it. So one of the hottest teams in the country right now, you got to, hey, it is what it is. Them, Florida, Arkansas coming along. Like, it's that time. It's that time of the year, man.
Let me ask you this. There I go doing that again. Let me ask you this.
At least you caught it.
I caught it that time.
I want you to ask me.
I caught it that time. Savage.
Yeah.
What is the fine balance between knowing you could have lost that game on Saturday, coasting into the SEC to where you don't lose steam? What's the balance? Because what's the yo adage? Like, winning the SEC tournament don't really mean as much,
right?
So what's the balance that we're looking for
when you look at it as
far as getting ready for the big tournament?
Rhythm, and I continue to talk about this. You're getting ready when you're going into the tournament to have the closest dress rehearsal that you can have leading up to the NCAA tournament.
Does that mean just one game?
No, one game. Well, listen, one game. Regardless if you win or lose, the build up to it, the practices that build up to it, the walking through the hotel with all the fans in there, giving them 5, going up into your room, coming back down. What time we got pregame? All right, cool. Come down there, eat. Got to try to dodge your way through the lobby, get back up to your room, get your pregame nap, get back up, get tape. Hey, dog, what time we meeting at the bus? All right, be down at least 10 minutes earlier because we got to make our way through the crowd, get the police escort, get to the gym, get all the hoopla coming through with the media. Then you got to sit there, wait before you can go on the court, wait till the time go off instead of your normal routine. Wait till the media come in. Okay, we need 3 guys come with us to the press conference pregame. Do that. Then go out there, practice. Then out there, after the practice, only 60 minutes, I believe. Go back off. Might even be 30 minutes. Go back off, get in the locker room, sit there, wait on the media to come in, answer all the questions. All right, let's gather up. Hey, y'all, let's go to the swag room. Go to the swag room, get all your stuff. All right, cool. Everybody, let's get to the bus. Hey, man, high five, doing through. Oh, let's sign these autographs. Don't forget you got National Player of the Year could be walking with you, so you ain't just an ordinary team. Get to the bus, go in there, get your pregame meal. All right, sit there, rest, boom. Let's do it all again. Let's get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that right there, outside of getting up, getting to the gym, getting tape, warm up, scout, game. Compared to everything I just told you. This is a dress rehearsal not only for the guys that have already been there and know about it, but the guys that haven't. Freddie DeLeon, Cam, Carl, all these people being able to get an opportunity to experience this now and have that target on your back to get ready for the NCAA tournament, because it's going to go up ×2 as soon as you get to the tournament. Okay. And it's nothing that can prepare you for it. So it's best to get you, regardless if you win or lose, you're not going to drop. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts to me about it. You are in a good position to be 1 or 2 seed. Either one of them, man, it's fine with me. You know what I mean? Okay. You're going west. Let's handle business. I don't think it's a team out there that you will see before the Elite Eight that could knock on your door and give you trouble. Okay. Just in my opinion.
With the way games are called this time of year, Slay, I heard Rick Barnes talking to Brent Hubbs and Burt Bertelkamp and Bob Kessling about this last night at Calhoun's in their weekly show they do here on the station, courtesy of Vol Network, that refs this time of year want to make it to the Final Four as badly as teams do.
Yeah.
And they are now going to swallow their whistles a bit more than what we have seen through the regular season. And in a lot of ways, the style of basketball changes so much because you have refs wanting to make a name for themselves now and get to their own Final Four. How much does that help or hurt this Tennessee team?
I think it helps them. I think you start to see a ramp up of it. You saw it in the South Carolina game. To me, that game was officiated like a tournament game. They let them fight. They let them, all clean within the whistle, but as far as the physicality, that was different. You didn't see that early on in the non-conference. You didn't see that in Maui. You didn't see that when SEC started. This right here is a different animal, but because you start to get those veteran officials that are not trying to get their feet wet, these are guys that are really prepping, like everything that I just gave you about the team getting ready and getting the dress rehearsal, that's the same thing going down the stretch. So you got the magnitude of the game mattering that much, so you know the guys are going to be on tilt. As far as the players go, okay, when they huddle up the refs, we're going to treat this just like an NCAA tournament game, y'all. Talk to the coaches the same way. When you go do the replay, let's get through it. Like all of this stuff. Have everybody ready to go. Get out here and get your warm up. We are in this game immediately, and we're taking ourselves out of it. Let them play and decide it. You see it all the time. South Carolina was a good job of it. Also, I thought the Kentucky game was a good job of it too. Yeah. Like that's what you want, man. As a fan, as a player, man, let us decide the game. Don't let it come out and maybe 20-20 in fouls, and we got to go to foul line. We 1-1 with 9 minutes left, unless that's what it calls us for. That's what it calls for. So I think they are as much getting ready, and you will see it more in these conference tournaments as well. That's why you're able to see guys get buzzer beaters, and you're like, hey, man, that would have been a foul. What you doing? No, man, play through it. Continue to play. That's what it is. It's all a build-up for everybody involved.
I'm curious with the conference tournaments, and I'll give an example in a minute, this doesn't necessarily pertain to what Tennessee's going through right now because they're the SEC regular season champs. They've got their spot pretty much locked up in March Madness. But for some of these teams, when they come into a tournament and they have a chance to win the conference championship, is that such a thing as momentum? Because I saw Oregon State do it a few years ago where they won the Pac-12 championship and just went on a hell of a run. I think ran into Tennessee that year. Is
in the
that
first round.
Is that a thing with some of these teams, like let's say Florida?
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say Florida, but I would say teams that are on the bubble like Texas A&M, Mississippi State.
Fair.
This is a great opportunity for them to go and get 2 games against you're playing quad one opponents and show people on the national stage where it'll at least make you think like, oh wow. this may be a tournament style team. You know what I'm saying? This tournament style team and regular season teams, two different builds right there. So you would look at it and say, okay, maybe Wade Taylor and Boots Radford could make a run like they did last year, getting ready and playing. They lost to Alabama in the championship, but those teams help themselves in this. If you're a bubble team, the conference tournament is primed for you. Everybody else, I think, is just routine. You know, you get the feel of it, shooting in a big arena, things of that nature. But as far as it helping your standings and things of that nature, you are who you are. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it does set the stage for somebody to get hot, like Kemba Walker did. I could see a Zakai getting hot. I could see a Walter Clayton Jr. getting hot. I could see Mark Sears. And I'm speaking about guards because those are the guys that have the ball in their hand, controlling the pace of the game the most. So those guys are the ones that can get hot and trying to ride that steam and that wave into the NCAA tournament and keep going. But you got to understand, like, as far as seeding and things of that go, you are who you are at this time.
Ron Slay of 3HL and SEC Network, our guest here on.
I'm right here, Willie.
Will. I want to get to the amount of teams who could win the SEC tournament.
Okay.
With you here coming up in just a moment after the break. But just before we get to that, like, the amount of time that passed between Josiah Jordan-James, Santiago Vescovi, and Dalton Connect holding up their jerseys as seniors.
Yeah.
And then playing.
Yeah.
Was jarring in person.
Yeah.
Because I was there at the game over the weekend, and I don't know if this was just a this year thing and the way they did the schedule or what, or if that's common. But genuinely, there were 5 minutes on the countdown of like, hey, we're going to tip off. And they were still out on the floor.
Yeah.
Kentucky had been in the locker room for 10 minutes.
Right.
Tennessee goes in the locker room, comes back out. They pretty much just had time to put on their jerseys.
Yeah. Sometimes it goes like that. You kind of go, you have I know with mine, we had a feel and we had a time slot, but you don't understand how emotional it's going to be for the guy. You don't want to disregard the fan love that they're going to get.
Right.
Sometimes that ovation is a little bit longer than it should be or could be, and you don't never want to rush a guy along. Especially somebody that's given the time that they have, like Josiah Santi, and the impact that Dalton Connect has had. Also, Cohen, I did say his name right, number 35, man. I keep on saying number 35.
Colin Cohen.
Colin Cohen. See, I got it right. But this is my thing, because the jersey ain't supposed to be worn. But otherwise, I'm just saying, shout out to him, man. But I do think at times of it, you can't rush him along, man. You got to let him soak it all up, and you don't understand them guys. You can't anticipate guys crying, stuff like that. Like, I expected to go out there. I told them when we were getting ready, they were like, man, we're going to give you about 3 or 4 minutes a piece. I was like, dude, I don't even need that long, dog. I'm trying to go out there 2 minutes, raise my jersey up, take the picture, and let's roll. Man, I went out there, man, the people started clapping. I was like, oh, kiss, man. I started looking at the team. It was like, I told you. I'm like, come on, dog. That's why I brought my towel with me. Yeah, that's right. That's why I brought my towel with me. But, yeah, man, I think that's part of it, dog. Especially when you want to chill.
Right.
Yeah. So it's it's a culmination of everything, man.
All right, let's get more SEC tournament discussion with Ron Slay coming up next. Plus, a former Titan has landed with an NFC East team.
Oh, boy.
Who?
Tell you who next.
Oh, come on.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural System. Y'all, it's that time of the year where it's about to get rainy and saturated, and you might end up seeing some foundation issues around your home. And I probably know what you're thinking. Not me. Well, it's usually the ones that say not me. So if you do have to have some foundation repair or waterproofing work done, you also have a peace of mind knowing United Structural System provides an honest diagnosis and stand by their working warranties, all right? This is huge. And USS is based right here in Middle Tennessee. Members of our communities, USS has been in business here for 25 plus years, and they aren't going anywhere. This is who you want doing work around your home when it comes to waterproofing and foundation repair, okay? Simply put, homeowners trust USF. Keeping homes dry and stable for over 25 years, and you can reach out to them at ussTN.com or simply call them 615-488-7855.
Hour number 4 on a Tuesday morning of RKW. Ramon, Kayla, and Will is brewed by 8th and Roast. And a man who used to be a Tennessee Titan is going to the NFC East. No, it's not Derrick Henry. It's Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota to the Washington Commanders. 1 year, $6 million up to $10 million.
Man keeps playing.
He does. Keep knocking him out, baby. What is this, year 10 for him or something right now?
Damn near close.
Him and Jameis were both drafted in 2015.
Wow.
It's crazy because Sam Howell's still on his rookie contract. The cap hit for Sam Howell is still ridiculously low. So maybe Sam Howell's on his way out of town.
Get the hell out of town.
Nah, I doubt that one. I know you got a question you want to ask Savage. I just got to go here real quick.
Please do.
You mentioned a buzzer beater. Where we at on Kelly and the Vols? I don't want to compromise you. I don't want to compromise
Savage.
you.
I don't know how you recover from that. When you're looking at it, and to be technical about it, when you play basketball long enough, a lot of things don't have to be coached. If I know it's only one shot that can beat me, that's a 3-pointer. Okay, we're going to defend the basketball. We're going to defend without fouling. If we're nervous about the big setting a down screen for the guard and the guard popping out and it being a mismatch if they switch, what you do is invert defensively. And you put the big down low and the guard up top. Guards, you got anything that comes up. This is communication between players. You got anything that comes up, anything that comes to the rim, I got.
Yep.
I mean, that's just simple. The ball pressure, I don't know who Raquel was supposed to be guarding, but her standing in no man's land didn't help. Once you see the ball thrown in, like, how does no one move? Even if you just run it. 1.2 seconds is a lot of time to do a lot. Like, she caught the ball, stepped back, got her feet together, and shot. Someone could be closing and running so when you're supposed to be on the move with the flight of the ball, I don't know if that's coaching or what, man, but that's who it's gonna fall on. So I don't know how they move forward with that, man. That's a tough one, man. I love Kelly. I love Kelly to death. Thought she put some great things together. But golly, that's a tough one.
Your point, though, this is a hard one to come back from.
Yeah, it is.
The point.
And the way it went down, like with Tamara just standing in the lane with her hands up in the air, like, put your hands down. Like, what are you doing? This is not the Khaled song. Like, T-Pain and them, like, everybody, all we do is win, win, win. Your hands stay there. They stay there, dog. Put your hands down, lady. What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I hate that one. I hate that one for everybody involved, man. I thought Raquel was the best player in the tournament. Mm-hmm. And that's voided, man, by that one play.
It's voided.
So.
Slay, how many different teams could win the SEC tournament?
At least 6. I would say Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Kentucky. I'm missing something. South Carolina.
South Carolina.
And then the funny thing about it, man, the team that starts Wednesday out of that group, the way Arkansas is playing right now with Tramon Mark and Caleb Battle.
Devo.
Good gracious. Devo coming back. Like, it all helps, man. Them boys can score.
Yeah.
Them boys can score, man. So it's gonna be fun starting Wednesday. So
when do you think Jerry Stackhouse's extension gets announced after his win over Florida?
That's funny. You know what? I think, man, the weirdest thing about it is, you're looking at what's going on and Coach of the Year, like coming off that last year, it's definitely gonna be something. I was hearing from sources that are in the know, air quotations, that they said he was going to be fired, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, and here he is still winning games.
Still coaching.
No,
it's weird.
No, stop.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Stop right now. Savage. You got Vandy fans calling in trying to stoke this fire through you.
Again,
Savage?
Through you. I apologize.
And
Savage.
Will Lee,
he leaned in
he asked that question with a smirk on his face.
He knew what he was doing, didn't he?
Leave right now,
he
Will.
Knew what he, was doing.
He knew what he was doing.
Go to the office, Will.
They trolling
Matter of
through
fact,
you
don't
now.
ride home on the bus. We'll tell your mom and dad to come pick you
walk
up.
home.
Okay.
Yeah,
we need to meet
with them. Yeah, we need to meet with them.
I feel like that never happens with you, Will.
I did get a note sent home.
Man, I believe it is. Will Lee crazy, man.
I had a note sent
crazy
home
Will Lee.
one time in kindergarten at Edmondson Elementary School because somebody looked at me funny, and I took my scissors and I cut a hole in his shorts.
See?
So I got a note sent home.
What you hey, man.
I was 5 years old. That was the
no
only
excuse.
problem.
That is because your age don't give you no excuse.
The only problem I
a
ever
rogue
had
out
was
here.
he looked at me funny. I was like, Hayden looked at me funny, so I
my
I
gosh.
cut his shorts.
Hole in his jeans. Damn.
It's just basketball
And now
shorts.
it's
so-
fashioned by Gardner Minshew.
I know.
So
Prime
there you
example,
go.
prime
Oh,
example
God.
of cutthroat.
Like this is
Really
crazy
was.
because we had scissors in kindergarten that prevented you from doing this stuff.
Yeah. Yep, not sharp edges or none of that.
None of that.
Football
Will
friend
Lee
in the
found a way.
FNM Bank chat says Will is weird, man.
That's
But you know
Will
me.
Lee, man.
And
But you have heard of me.
yeah.
Oh, thank you, Ron Slay. Appreciate the time as always.
No doubt, man.
Back at it tomorrow morning. Michael Lombardi of ESPN will join us. Rhett Bryan talks free agency. Who knows who else the Titans will add? Send
somebody
us on
called you a
Malone
budding
Foster.
sociopath.
Early stages
I've
of
been a
it.
fully budded sociopath for a long time.
Hey, at all times, good people, man, no matter who your team sign, chooses not to sign. Your Twitter fingers and Mike is always
Always hot.
Yeah.